you mentioned it, so now I'm going to record it.
Well, there we go then. Look at that.
So as we mentioned yesterday, the 2024 Player's Handbook launched on D&D Beyond for early access yesterday. So you guys should have access to it through my campaigns. I did create a campaign. If you just want to create characters with the 2024 uh, rule set, we'll probably want to have a talk about how we want to handle if we want to go to 2024 or if we want to mix, but not prepared to have that conversation yet because I have not
My
read through it.
my class doesn't exist, so I'm not moving.
Well, technically you can still access it because it is still legacy. I've messed around with the character creator. You can still choose like artificer and like some of the stuff from the expanded rule books, and it seems to section it out quite nicely.
It would be possible for me to keep Naruko's base class and then mess around with the new options.
Yeah,
I'm probably not going to do that, but I will take a look.
I noticed when I was did a quick character creation, and I noticed that when I went to choose a race, there was now a separate section just for that, like separated out like the homebrew stuff. So
Mhm.
that was a nice little touch. So it would be nice if it starts to actually separate out stuff that is listed as homebrew. But I've not had a chance to play with it all that much yet. um,
It would be cool.
so I'll say for now, think about um, what you guys want to do with that stuff, and we can talk about it. That's all I got for now. So, in the meantime, um, welcome back, everybody. Our heroes are here in the city of Tramonto. Marcus has been leading you all around on a bit of a tour of the city, where you've been meeting some of its people, uh, and kind of
Both
passing
alive
by
and dead.
live and dead. Who have you met that's dead?
He took us to the crypt.
Oh, that's right. Well,
Look,
technically, you didn't
no matter
meet
how
anyone
cool
that was
we all
dead.
think it is, it's still one of those things. It's like, yeah, where are we gonna go on the first time out? I'm gonna take you to my family's crypt.
We did not even get to see the bodies.
I know.
A little fucked up.
It
It's
was
like a tease, really.
a special place for Marcus. Uh, and you technically didn't meet anyone that was dead today.
I mean,
What?
it seems kind of racist against those of us who are dead.
You didn't meet anyone new who was dead.
Anyone new who's
Technically, you're undead.
Technically.
technically, except for the purpose of the spell that actually targets undead.
And one of the things that we did was we got to spend a little bit of time with Marcus's uncle Oliver, who was able to kind of tell you guys a little bit about the Goldwater Trading Company's operation here in Tramonto, while Professor shook down a dock working dwarf to try to find some drugs.
God, that's still so funny.
It's
With
gonna go well. I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm super excited to see how this plays out.
Me too.
with that, we'll return to the city of Tramonto. Marcus has taken you back through the entertainment district, down by the Temple of Joaquin, and he has brought you up here now to uh, uh, the merchant district. where he was about to introduce you to the little jewelry shop called the Gleam and Glister, where he said most of the noble families' jewelry is made, and where they intend to have. Oh, I left the grid on. Where they're going to have the wedding rings made. Turn the grid off. There. Uh, so Marcus leads you to the Gleam and Glister. He opens the door to this jewelry shop, and inside it is a fine shop that has clearly been here for a while. The carpet in here is nice and plush. There are glass cases kind of all about you that are displaying all different types of jewelry, necklaces, rings, bracelets, um, earrings, what have you. You can find it here, all in uh, glamorous, glittering color. A lot of these uh, pieces of jewelry are in themselves works of art. Clear prisms refracting light into the cases. Um, One of those kind of like old shops where when you walk in, like the sound from the bustling city outside kind of dampens as you step outside and, or I'm sorry, step inside. And you can kind of see there are a few people that are hovering about the cases here and flitting back and forth between them. You see an elven woman uh, who is wearing a very fine purple dress. She's kind of adorned in jewelry. She has her silverish white color hair kind of done up with some curly strands coming out very tastefully. Um, she looked a little bit like this.
Oh, she's so pretty. Jade says that out loud.
So Marcus leans over to you all as you guys clock this woman. She's bouncing back and forth between numerous patrons within the shop, and Marcus says, "That's Madame Celeste, and she is the best in the business." And Brutus will kind of stand by the door and cross his arms. He'll keep watch on the inside of the shop as Marcus will lead you over to one of the counters where a number of rings are kind of let out. Um, you see Madame Celeste kind of finishes up with one of the people she's talking to. They leave and go about their way, and she comes over across the counter from you guys, and you see she smiles and looks at Marcus, and she says, "Oh, Master Coldwater, welcome. Didn't expect you here today." And she kind of does that kind of greeting where she the uh, uh, leans over the case a little bit. She does the kiss on both cheeks to Marcus and looks at the rest of you and smiles. And she says, "And Marcus, who are your companions?" He says, "Madame Celeste, I would like you to meet my fiance, Naruko von Grutzner, and these are her companions, and we'll introduce you all to her." She says, "Well, it is lovely to meet you all."
Hello, it's very nice to meet you too. You're very pretty.
Oh,
Hello.
thank you.
I really like your hair.
Oh, that is so sweet of you to say. Thank you. She kind of looks at Ren as Ren greets her, and she cocks her head a little bit, and she gets the face where you could tell like the wheels are turning, and she goes, "My darling, have you ever thought of adorning those antlers of yours?
No.
Oh my god.
You really should consider it. I think it would really sparkle up your appearance."
I am not interested in sparkling.
They do look really pretty when you light them up, Ren. Maybe you could add extra sparklies to them.
Ren has festooned lights upon his antlers.
Oh my gosh, he's a Christmas deer.
Yes, he is. Bring upon the silver tinsel.
Yes.
Uh, she says, "Well, that's fine, but we're always here at your service. Should you ever change your mind?" Looks back to Marcus and looks straight at Narco, and she says, "So this is the woman of your dreams." And Marcus says, "Yes, she just came into town, which is what brings us here. I thought I would bring her by, and we could see how the rings are coming along, perhaps add some finishing touches to them." And Celeste says, "Oh, of course, I would love to help you, but I'm a little bit delayed. Sophia was due back from vacation today, and she's not shown up, so I'm kind of running the shop by myself today." And Marcus says, "She hasn't come back. That doesn't seem like her." And Celeste says, "Well, she hasn't taken some time off in a while, so I'm sure she's just enjoying herself."
Is your friend missing?
Who are you asking, Jade?
Madame Celeste.
She looks at Jade and she says, "I wouldn't quite say missing, just not here."
Oh, did you send someone to go check on her? We could go check on her.
Um, I mean, you don't have to. I could not ask that of you. I'm sure
Oh,
she's fine.
well, I mean, that's great because you're not asking. I offered, so it's different somehow. I'm told, but if you're worried about your friend, we're touring the city anyway, so we could stop by and just make sure she didn't like fall down the stairs or get locked in a cupboard or anything like that.
You see, she's not really my friend. She's my apprentice and she is my coworker. Uh, we are friendly. Don't get me wrong, but um, not like not like super close. If that's what you're meaning.
I don't understand. What are you worried about it?
I am concerned. Yes.
Well then, I mean, then shouldn't someone go check on her?
She kind of looks at Marcus and she says, I couldn't possibly ask that of your companions, especially on their first day here in the city."
Nariko will, from her small pocketbook, pull out one of the many business cards that she had made up for just this occasion. Uh, and she will offer it to Madame Celeste and say, "Oh, don't think too much of it. My little band here has a habit of going out of their way whenever opportunities like this present themselves. Uh, there will be the little card, Mystic Mechanicus, uh, pro- problem solved, uh, wrongs righted, satisfaction guaranteed, etc. Like adventurers, only gussied up in more corporate lingo."
Right. Marcus kind of sees you hand over this business card and he says, "That's very kind of you to offer, Naruko, but I don't. You don't have to worry so much about that anymore if you don't have to."
Well, it seems like this particular problem it stands in the way of uh, our rings being finished in time, considering that the timetable of the wedding itself is rapidly approaching. Uh, and it'll be something for my companions to put some energy towards while you and I are busy elsewhere.
Um, oh, uh, and he kind of turns around and looks at the rest of the group and he says, "Is that? I guess that is kind of what you do, isn't it?"
What? Find people?
He motions
Sometimes.
motions to the business card.
No, Nariko hands out the business cards.
No, what's on the business card? Wrongs righted, people and things of that sort.
Oh, yes,
Yes, it
definitely.
is what we do. And Nariko does have a point. While she and Marcus are otherwise occupied, um, we would be available to help find your apprentice.
Madame Celeste kind of like, uh, you see her shoulders like drop a little bit in like relief, and actually give me an insight check.
Oh, those were just
She, was she like
Whoever wants
secretly
to.
hopeful? Like she's just like, oh, I have to make a scene about like not putting people out, but I actually really fucking want the help right now.
I run a fancy shop. I can't be asking for help.
24. Our got for insight. She rolled a nat 20.
Oh my
I
Nice.
I have a +8 to my insight. So with my roll, that's a 12. Jade's very
I
confused through the
love
whole conversation.
I love Jade being so very lost in navigating conversations with people, but also being stupidly insightful at the same time.
I know, right? I don't understand what you're trying to say. Do you just want us to go find it? I'm gonna go find her anyway. I think she wants us to go find her.
So I would say Narco, Yuki, and Professor. You kind of clock that little bit of relief when you guys offer to find Sophia for her. For exactly the reasons that Neville mentioned. Like, yeah, I could run this place on my own, but it would be really fucking nice to have the help. And man, when is she getting back? Uh, and I really don't want to ask the fiance of one of the wealthiest, one of the sons of one of the wealthiest families in Tramonto to do it. Uh, but if they're offering, that's awesome. like that, like that kind of feeling. I think Jade and Reverie, you kind of catch like the shoulder droop a little bit and a little bit of a quirk of a smile, but I'm not sure you quite fully catch what that means.
I still don't get it.
Uh, with with a quest acquired, uh, Narco will quickly take down some information from Madame Celeste about uh, where Sophia was last known to be, or where she makes her home, and like likely places to go to try and find to check up on her.
So in between taking breaks from tending to the other customers inside the shop here, Celeste will let you know. She says, "Well, she asked for some time off a little time ago. She asked for a week, and she hasn't asked for time off in a while. So I figured it was overdue, and I I granted it to her. Nothing out of the ordinary, but um, I know that she was working on a custom piece for a customer who would come in and would only talk to her. And I don't really know anything about what the project was or when it was due or what she was trying to do. Um, but it did seem unlike her to want to take a break in the middle of working on such a custom piece. It's not characteristic, you know.
a customer that only wished to talk and work with the apprentice. That's unusual. Was this perhaps a suitor of some sort?
I'm not sure because the person who did come to see her, he was a much older man than she was, so I'm not sure if that was quite the case. Um, but he had come in during one of the days where we were particularly busy, and she was the one that happened to greet him, and she was showing him some of the other custom work that she had done, and I suppose he had just taken a liking to her style. I mean, that's not so strange because you find an artisan that you enjoy their work, you know want to stick with that person, which is completely understandable. And by all means, Sophia is very good in her own right.
Uh, does Sophia, do you know if she was planning to complete the work at her home or did she have a workshop that she used?
Oh, she has a workshop here, and as far as I know, well, a workbench, I should say. She has a workbench here, where she has done most of her work, and I haven't known her to take her work home. Um,
Hmm.
if you want to see her workstation, I'd be happy to show you.
I think that might be. She'll look at Professor. I think that might be helpful to ascertain any possible risks in the situation.
Has the customer come back since she's been on vacation?
Make a check. You see, she frowns a bit as she turns that thought over and looks at you, Jade, and she says, "Come to think of it, no, he hasn't been back been on since she's left."
Um, excuse my confusion. If she does not do any work and take her work at home, and she only works here, then did she happen to say where she might be completing said piece?
She didn't, but I assumed it was just going to be here.
Hmm. Her home. Do you, being new to Tramonto and the area, where her home is located, uh, would you say there are any issues with drug use?
Oh,
I tried so hard to say that with a straight face.
There's a missing person. Do you think it could be drugs?
Could it be drugs? Is it drugs? It's drugs, isn't it?
which means it's also the cult.
It's 100% drugs. It's called
Everything is
done.
only this one thing.
Problem solved.
She squints her eyes a bit and she leans in a bit. She keeps her voice low and she says, "Do you think she might have got into this whole twilighting thing going on?"
Yuki, look at Naruko and look at Professor, thinking about how to reply appropriately. And I think she'll say, I would not jump straight to it, but if it is an issue here, I would like to make sure that, we cover all bases and rule out any possible risks.
I've heard it's been going around, but I haven't seen any signs of it in her. But I guess how well can you really know someone, I suppose, right?
Did she seem, when she asked for the time off, you said she doesn't really ask for time off. Was she nervous? Or did she seem um, scared or concerned at all when she asked for the time off? Like
No, not at all. She didn't seem strange or out of the ordinary at all.
did she say where she was going?
I didn't ask. It's none of my business.
Okay. Jay doesn't know how to really respond to that.
Well,
Up.
anyway,
I don't want to take up too much of your more of your time. You are very, very busy. If you wouldn't mind, um, is it possible to look at her workstation?
yes, of course. Follow me if you wouldn't mind. She'll lift up like one of the gates to get behind the counters, and she'll lead you into a back room.
Yuki will follow.
Is anyone else following?
Oh, I'll follow. I'll follow.
Yeah, Jay will go.
All right.
Everybody.
How how does Marcus seem to be following along with Narco's posse getting all into the investigative stuff here?
Give me an
Does
insight
he
check.
does he seem to be interested in what's going on himself, or is he kind of just like, oh, this is a weird hobby your friend has?
Give me an insight check on him.
Celine said, "Why does your friend keep asking about drugs? I have better drugs at home. Like, she doesn't need to ask for poor people drugs."
That is good. How good? 21. 21 good.
So as Yuki and Madame Celeste are talking and kind of getting the situation, he's trying to act like he's not interested in what's going on, like casually kind of glancing at some of the jewelry around. But
Mhm.
you definitely catch him like uh, taking glances in your direction and kind of like leaning ever so slightly to try to get more of what's being said. Um, as you guys start to kind of go into the back, he does hang back a bit, but he does follow, which does kind of indicate, at the very least, a passing curiosity.
That's good. Narco will uh, sort of come alongside and like go back with him, making it clear that she is interested in uh, the thing going on here, but she's also interested in like seeing all the various jewelry making tools back here.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of just like it's like it's okay to have an interest in adventuring things. Maybe it's more fun than sitting around the tea table bitching about Carol or whatever it is
Blink
people
3
do.
times if your parents spit on your dreams.
Look, and maybe we're not, in Brutus's shadow for a few minutes here. Don't you feel nice when that happens? Yeah.
As you kind of hang back and
Speaking Morse code this whole time.
kind of go with him, he leans a little bit into Narco and he says, "Is this is the kind of stuff that you guys do with this adventuring? You just figure out mysteries when there doesn't really seem to be a mystery?"
Well, we once entered into a town, much like we did with you, got the lay of the land, heard about what's been going on. There we had found that a lot of people had been coming down with a sleeping sickness. Uh, our curiosity was piqued. We went looking for more information, and soon enough we found that apparently there'd been a curse over the nearby carnival that was spreading to the patrons. Things got a lot more exciting in a hurry there.
He has like a very slight smile on his face as you tell him this, and he says, That sounds dreadful."
Oh, there are bits of dread when things like that happen, but by the time we were done, people weren't. falling asleep never to wake up anymore. And that's what we mark as a job well done. This might be nothing more than uh, girl lost track of time, but if she is in trouble, well, we want to be there to help her.
Kind of nods.
The
Go ahead.
you you may notice that my business card for these little services that the Mystic Mechanicus provides, uh, I don't print rates on them because not every job is about the compensation.
Marcus almost looks thoroughly confused as you say that. You don't get
You're a man
paid?
of the arts. Sometimes doing a good deed is enough, but other times just having the good story is good enough too. Are you perhaps interested in hearing some more of the details of the chaotic carnival that I described before?
He ponders for a second and he says, I'll admit to a curiosity to see what it is you and your companions have done on the way to get here.
Stay curious, Marcus. I find my life has become quite a bit more hectic and not without pains, but oh, so very more interesting than when I was just passing my days in Point Pleasant.
Hmm. As you kind of say that, Sophia leads you up to this workbench. On this workbench, you see that uh, there's a bunch of practice work that is still kind of like on top of the bench. There is clear quartz and silver wire that's kind of strewn about with various sets of jewelers tools. Um, each piece of quartz is in like a different kind of stage of finish. Sophia turns to address you and she says, "I hope you don't mind if I leave you here. I with Marcus here, I trust that none of you have sticky fingers. Um,
No, I'll wash my hands. I'll have gloves on.
you take everything quite literally, my dear, don't you?
Yes.
That is a kleptomaniac.
Uh-huh. Anyway, if you wish to check out Sophia's workstation, this is it here. I've got to go back to check on my other customers in the shop. If you have any questions or any other needs, please come get me whenever you're ready." And she will scurry off and leave you to it.
Yuki would like to look for drugs.
Get him,
Not,
Yuki!
I'm gonna look for clues like drugs. I'm looking for drugs.
Drugs specifically, which again is very funny. We have not come across any instance yet that this lady's on drugs. She just
Nope.
asked to go on vacation and just hasn't come back. Could just have done nothing or got kidnapped by Red Hoods from over there. But nope, obviously drugs.
I mean, we'll look for clues in a minute for sure. Just,
You're
Yuki, what are you doing to look for drugs?
I
She's taking out her big bag of cocaine to compare it to other bags of cocaine.
right. I'm taking
You
out
must have
my
a sample
herbal
size.
bag, seeing if anything matches. No, I think Yuki is smart enough to understand the difference between like jewelry making supplies and like non-jewelry making supplies, like a fucking crack pipe. So I think I I think Yuki will be kind of looking to see if there's any like hidden drawers or like bottomless drawers or whatever, like some sort of like if there's like a packet of cocaine taped to the back of a drawer. She's just kind of got to see if there's anything being hidden from sight.
Give me an investigation check.
This is gonna be amazing. Oh, not bad. I was expecting a 3. That's not bad.
Uh, so Yuki, as you are kind of scrounging about this workbench looking for drugs, kind of moving aside, you're kind of like picking up some of the pieces, some of the unfinished pieces of quartz. You're kind of following the lead of where the silver wire goes. Um, there's like a there's like a desk protector on top. You're like checking underneath that. Uh, there is a bit of there's like a drawer that's underneath the workbench. Pull it out. There's a bunch of like tools and more like wire and stuff inside. No drugs in there. Um, the bench itself that she would sit on to uh, to work, you kind of find that the seat actually lifts up to reveal a bit of a compartment. Inside this compartment, there is like a little notebook, but no drugs.
Can Jade search for not drugs, but just for like basically anything that she may have left behind of like plans where she might have gone or what she was doing?
Notebook sounds good.
Yeah, the notebook sounds like a plan. So
Yeah,
Give
I
me
think Yuki probably would have taken the notebook out, put it on the table because it's not drugs, so it would definitely be.
you you take out the notebook, you kind of flip through it, um, and there's a bunch of like handwritten notes and stuff that are in there. But as you kind of flip through the pages, there's no like weird little baggies or anything like that that are stuck between the pages.
Cool.
Uh, Jade, you can give me an investigation as well as you are looking for what else?
I want to see if that she left anything behind, like plans. Like she said, Celeste said that she asked for vacation, and that was kind of out of the ordinary. So just want to see if there's anything behind, like why she would have asked for vacation or where she might have gone. If she wrote any notes down about, or like what she was working on. Or I know that Nariko writes things in hidden code. Maybe there's something like that that seems strange in her notes. So that's a natural 20. With my investigation is a 22.
Nice.
On
So I only got like a little bit higher than Yuki.
As Yuki flips through the notebook, your eyes uh, do catch some handwritten things in that notebook. Uh, Kind of like one of the last entries, which does talk about a just on a real quick glance. You do see that one of the last entries in this notebook is about a custom piece that she is working on. Could very likely be the one that she has not finished yet.
Okay. Anything interesting about that entry? Like, what was it she was working on? Jade will read it.
So as Yugi's flipping through this book, you kind of you catch some words written down, and you realize that hey, this might be related, and you kind of like I imagine you kind of like stick your hand in there to kind of like hold the place in the book.
Oh yeah. So just she'll reach out and she'll just like put her like finger on the tops of the pages so Yuki can't flip it over. And she says, "Oh wait, I think that looks like it's important or relevant or something like that."
And you do
Oh,
indeed.
okay. And she'll she'll give it to you.
And this is what you find.
Rent down payment. Oh no.
That's alarming.
Jade reads that and just her eyes just get huge as she's reading it, and then she hands it immediately over to the professor and Nariko. And Yuki, because Yuki has dreams too, but they're about Fedwin. I don't think this is. I don't think this is just a piece because it's pretty.
Curious.
Someone named Lorenzo. He says it looks like she's been dreaming about eyes in the sky.
Is there any sort of arcane significance of this style of cut?
Ooh, give me an Arcana check.
Oh, could Naruto make Arcana check as well?
Sure.
Hell yeah, you two. Goddamn.
As
I mean,
you
the fact that there's 6 facets immediately makes Naruto think of the whole 6 things, kind of an arc number.
yeah, as you both kind of read this and you kind of try to determine if there's any kind of arcane significance to it, you are and you actually can kind of see some of the schematic sketches that she has hand drawn in this book, and you are immediately reminded of an illustration that you found back in Dum Dural.
Yep.
They,
That's what I was thinking.
they want to make
You were
they
thinking
want
about
to
drugs, Yuki.
maybe.
Yes. Allie was thinking about the Clavis. Yuki's
Oh,
thinking
and
about
they type of
He was
drug.
thinking about drugs, but Allison was like, "There's some shit happening."
I was like, fuck, I think that sounds like the thing we've seen before.
Yeah.
Is Marcus seeing the schematics and stuff as well as Narco looks at it?
Yeah, he's kind of like looking over. He's kind of like kind of staying out of it, letting you guys do your thing because he's just kind of like watching the whole thing happen. But yeah, he's kind of like hanging behind, like looking over your shoulders at these notes.
Professor kind of paces away from everyone, kind of like crossing his arms over his chest with one hand, kind of like stroking his chin, but kind of at the same time with his hand that's over his chest, he kind of slips his fingers into his sleeve and flips out a card. And I'm going to cast Detect Thoughts on Marcus.
Oh,
Okay. Are you just trying to go for surface level, or are you trying to go deeper? That'll force him to make a save.
I'm going to start surface level.
Okay. So, surface level thoughts that you get on Marcus. You kind of hear him say to himself, "There's a lot of unexpected investigative work," and he's just
Okay.
kind of like focused. Not focused, but he's like definitely has more than a passing curiosity at just the work that you guys are doing in general. But the general vibe that you get is that whatever's being written in this notebook doesn't really mean anything to him.
Okay. I want to insight check that because I mean, people got kind of put the thoughts in places, and if they're trained the right way, they might be able to push it. I just don't trust him.
Yeah, give me an insight check.
It's only an 8.
The surface level thoughts that you're picking up seem to be genuine. I mean, you do get that again, like Naruko did earlier when you guys were at the Starry Serenade. You do get the impression that he does have a little bit of training against like divination, magic where it comes to trying to read your thoughts, but so like it's not like easy to get in there, but you definitely caught him at a moment where he was distracted. So not as guarded as he would usually be.
Okay. As it kind of, there's no like. Can I sense that he's like trained at resisting this type of stuff, even if I got him at an off moment?
I would say yeah.
Noted. And we'll just sort of the card that he had pulled out without being like too weird about trying to slip it back into the sleeve. He kind of flips it out and holds it up high for everyone to see. He's like, "All right, we have to go visit her friends and family.
Should we start at her house?
That's the perfect place to start. And if she has any friends and family there, then that'll be the double perfect place to start."
Jade's gonna reach out and she's gonna like take Naruko's hand and she's going to say, "Naruko, are you coming with us, or are you?"
Naruko will kind of pat Jade's hand and say, "I only have some precious limited time to really spend with Marcus before things start speeding up. So I think it's best that I take that time while I can. But I have total faith in all of you pursuing this, and there's means by which you can reach out to me if things get particularly dicey." Narco, although I don't want to cast message right when Marcus is like standing next to me.
Yeah.
But I wish to convey with Naruko's soulful, beautiful eyes that's like, "Don't worry, babe. I've got some plans going."
Subtlety is not Jade's thing.
That's true.
And this whole day has been weird for her. So she's just, her fingers like tighten a little bit on your hand is just like a squeeze. You could tell she looks confused and concerned about this. She's gonna say, "Are you gonna be okay if we go? This is really important."
No, Narco says, "There's a lot of very important things going on here in Tramonto, which is why I think having some of the Mystic Mechanicus here and there is our best way of making sure it all gets taken care of."
Okay. You're gonna keep Bobby, right?
Seeing that Jade is probably worried about Naruko being safe while out of her sight, she will say, "Of course."
Okay, good.
Sorry, were you guys like discussing this like out loud, or was this kind of?
Yeah, we're out loud. This is out loud.
I think Marcus will kind of like, after he's kind of done reading over your shoulder, he looks at the both of you as you have this exchange, and he says, "If it's all the same, I wouldn't mind coming with you. This is all rather exciting, actually."
Naruko will fake being caught off guard by this. Just like, "Oh, are you sure about that, Marcus? Would it be all right for the son of such a prestigious family to be seen going about on adventures like this?"
I mean, we're just checking in on a friend. It's not really an adventure, but right?
Uh, I suppose. Mother and father wouldn't be put out if we happened to be out and about, potentially later into the evening, doing such a thing.
Well, I mean that's most times when I come home, it's when the sun starts to set anyway.
Hmm. And hmm, well, I suppose so. You were saying how skilled a duelist you were earlier, so I'm sure having you nearby would keep all of us a lot safer, right?
Of
Oh
course,
yeah, and Brutus, he says he's fast.
yes. Having Brutus with us would also we would also be enjoying quite a bit of security with that as well.
Well then, nice. Narco will turn towards Jason. Well then, I suppose we will be joining you.
Oh, good. And then she looks at Marcus, and then she says, "If things get scary, you hide behind me." Shorter than Marcus, so that way you don't die.
uh, he will he gives you a bit of a confused but kind of like amused look as well as he says, "That's kind of you to offer, but I have Brutus."
Yeah, Brutus can hide behind me too. That's okay.
Okay.
Okay. Did Madame Celeste give us her address? Narco, did you already get that?
Uh,
No.
Narco already put down like personal address, and then the journal mentioned a particular the sailors something.
Yeah, they were going to meet up at the Sailor's Haven.
Sailors Haven, yeah. So those we have two destinations that we can go check stuff out at.
Yeah. Marcus, do you know where the Sailor's Haven is?
He blinks as he looks at you, Jade, and he says, "Wait, are you really planning to go there?"
Well, that's where the notebook says she went.
Oh. Yes, I know where it is, but if you're going there, I don't think I want to go there.
Is it scary?
It's one of those places that's a little rough around the edges.
Yuki will turn to Marcus and say, "Do they sell drugs there?"
He kind of scoffs a bit, and he says, "Well, I don't know for sure, but I certainly wouldn't be surprised."
Hmm. Interesting.
Where's your sense of adventure? This is what it means to be the stick mechanic, is getting your hands dirty, showing your face to the people, let them know what they're working with.
I would much rather show my face to the people in a theater audience, my friend.
Oh, well.
It's okay if you're scared, Marcus. You don't have to come.
I who said I was scared? I'm not scared.
Well, you said it was rough around the edges, and I know, I get very scared sometimes too, and nervous, and sometimes I hide in a closet. And we're not going to have a lot of closets, so it's okay if you want to go home instead, and we can come get you when it's done, so
Yuki
you're
will,
safe.
Yuki will nod and say, "Yes, your Brutus does look intimidating," but then she'll kind of look at Jade and shrug and say, "He's no Gorak." I'm 100% sober, guys. I just want you to know, like, this is
Jade looks at Naruko and and then back at Yuki is like slightly confused, and she says, "I thought Gorak went off to do your trials. Is he here? If he's here,
no,
he can come."
no, he is not here. I'm
Oh,
saying that Gorak is stronger and probably braver and more fierce than Brutus.
oh, that doesn't seem very nice. We don't even know Brutus yet.
Marcus kind of straightens out his jacket a bit and And he says, "Then where's your Gorak now?"
He's doing the
Oh,
trials
Yuki will
At the
straighten up.
monastery.
for love. They're in love, and it was love at first sight, and they're going to get married, and he's going off to prove that. It's all very romantic.
He swam across an ocean. I believe I heard he fought a shark.
I heard it was
Okay.
an orc.
Does seem like Gorak to fight a shark.
Yuki doesn't need to say anything because everybody just did, so she just crosses her arms and arches an eyebrow.
That girl.
I love the
Dark in the
dynamic here
background, just
of
trying not to die from laughter.
Yuki just being like, I don't know, Naruko. Your fiance doesn't seem nearly as cool as mine.
Right?
Kind of.
Your
That's
fiance
just a
is
lie.
kind of a little bitch, and his bodyguard, he's kind of like a wuss. I don't know if I'd trust him to keep me safe. It's no Gorak.
I heard
I-
that Gorak lost both his legs in an accident and still walked it off.
Wow, that is impressive.
Yes.
So, are we doing Gorak facts now?
Yeah.
Yeah!
Yes.
I heard Gorak yelled at the moon and it ran away.
Yuki will nod and say, "It does not surprise me. He can be very
Or-
fierce."
Gorak stared at the sun and the sun turned away.
Have you ever seen Gorak eat? He doesn't really need to. The food just hides in his stomach because it's the only place it's safe from his fists.
No, he had that
Love this
much.
shit.
Yuki.
That was not for eating.
Oh, Yuki ate it.
I heard Gorak was once bitten by a venomous snake. After
And
5
the snake
horrifying,
died.
excruciating days of pain, the snake
They
died.
died.
Ah.
Now it's just
Love
Chuck
this
Norris
shit.
memes, and I love it. Oh my
So,
god.
so now I know
Yeah.
what the meme channel is about to be filled with.
Oh yeah. Oh, for fucking sure. Are you kidding? Welcome to the rest of my week.
I love it.
Instead of like Chuck Norris thinks it's gonna be Gorak.
Gorak.
We
It's
are
gonna all
so
compare
down.
to, Gorak is now the pinnacle that we have to compare stuff to.
I love it so fucking much.
When we find him, we're gonna find him like completely softened out and teaching all the people at the monastery how to crochet.
And then he stabs them with a knitting needle and then goes right back to crocheting. Now it's got that cool blood spatter pattern.
There you go.
And Yuki will just
Ooh.
smile and say, "Balance."
Yeah, print it. Make a note.
Make a note. Make a note. Oh my gosh, that's so funny. Yes. Anyway. But yeah, Marcus, if you're scared, you don't have to come. It's okay.
It's not that I'm scared. It's just that the Sailor's Haven is, and he kind of pauses for a moment, and he says, "Not my vibe."
Mm.
And anyone who wants to give me an insight check on that.
Ooh.
I will. I'm gonna use new dice.
Hell
I'll
Well,
try,
yeah.
but I'm not good
Yeah,
at
Really
it.
good for me tonight.
My insight tonight on this dude is so bad. I rolled another 12.
Oh, not as bad as I thought I was. Oh, I'm pretty good. Oh, Ren knows shit about
Look
this
at,
guy.
oh my god, everybody
Hell
but Jake.
yeah. We are all
Okay, but that's in character.
That is so in
over his
character.
bullshit.
Jake's just like, you're scared. It's okay. I get it.
And the rest of us are like, puss.
Here's the thing. Jade being like genuinely concerned and being like, it's okay, is probably like way more hurtful to this man's pride than any of us
Yeah.
just
Really?
going like,
Oh,
"Jade."
yeah.
Absolutely it is.
Probably.
I'll protect you.
So,
Yeah.
I would say that when Marcus says, "Not my vibe," Yuki, Naruko, Ren, Reverie, I think you all pick that up to mean beneath me.
Ooh, this pucks.
Hmm.
I think the tip of Yuki's tail just twitches a little. She's gonna hold her mouth because she is trying to be good, but yeah, that'll annoy her.
It's just fine. We get into some pretty rough spots. We understand that you would not want to be there. We would not want anything to happen to you, after all.
Oh, I'm not worried about anything happening to me with Brutus there, but it's just not one of my preferred spots. That's all. But don't let me stop you if you wish to continue on.
Jade's just gonna give him just like a very gentle, sympathetic pet on the arm and just go, "It's okay, Marcus. We wouldn't want anything to happen to you."
Why is that so threatening?
I don't. I appreciate all of your concern, but I promise with Brutus there, I would be quite fine.
Of course, oh, no, of course you would. Of course you would. Brutus would definitely keep you safe.
Right.
Yeah.
God.
Mars, why?
What did you do? Ah,
Mars, yes.
Mars, yes.
Yes.
So good.
Jade, when Jade is saying that as she's like scooting out, Brutus is still at the door, right?
Yes, he's still inside the front door
Jade-
to Gleaming Glister.
Jade's gonna scoot to Brutus. Brutus. Hello. Marcus is really afraid to go to the Sailor's Haven, and he's trying to make it so he's not. It's not like he's afraid, but he really is. Can you help so that it seems like you're helping him to not be afraid, so that he doesn't feel like he's being silly? Because anxiety is not something to be silly.
Kind of looks at you and he says, "I don't understand."
I know, but sometimes when people are really strong and can handle anything, they kind of forget that some people can't do that. And Marcus is trying really hard to make it seem like he's definitely not afraid, but he seems really scared. So maybe could you just be with him, because he was saying how brave and strong you are, and it seems like it gives him more confidence when you're beside him. Do you want to come stand with him?
I will stand with him when he decides to leave.
Oh, good. Okay. Just pat his arm too. You're a good friend, Brutus.
He kind of again just he looks forward and just is scanning the room constantly and does not respond to that.
She'll scoot back to everybody else. It's okay. Brutus says that he'll protect you when you're ready to go. He's a really good friend. Marcus.
No, Marcus says to go to where?
When you leave.
Yes, that's his job.
But I told him that you were scared a little bit, and he makes you feel more confident. So he's just going to make sure you're extra protected.
I am not scared. Why? What has given you the impression that I am scared?
Because you don't want to go.
That doesn't mean I'm scared. That just means I don't want to go.
Why?
Because I don't like that place.
How do you know if you don't go?
I just don't want to go there, okay? Can we just leave it at that?
Of course. You don't have to explain, Marcus.
Then why do you keep asking me to?
I was just concerned for you.
I'm quite fine, I can assure you.
I'm sure you are.
Narco will just sort of gently pat Jade. So it's all right, Jade. So,
So does that mean you're not coming then, Nariko?
yeah,
I
it doesn't seem that way.
I would join you if you want to look at Sophia's house, but if you decide to go on to the Sailor's Haven, I'm afraid I would decline to follow you there.
Jade just gives that very understanding, sympathetic nod at Marcus when he says that.
Naruto just filing away, unwilling to get outside of his comfort zone. Big points lost there. Big points lost.
Ah, you're doing so good, Marcus.
I got nothing but uncomfortable things for him and Sore.
Right? God, wait till the first time Narco breaks out a gun and kills a guy in front of him.
I look forward to whenever Naruto and Marcus are alone and he starts to vent a little bit about like, why are your friends like this? And just like,
Why are you like this?
it turns out that having people around who are willing to challenge you on your beliefs now and again is healthy. This is why I keep mentioning things like, you know, being open to new ideas and trying to understand other people's fucking empathy, man. Get it? Cool. So yeah, with much needling of Marcus done, is there anything else of interest in this workshop that we might have missed so far?
No, I don't think there wouldn't be anything else here that would be of interest or of of significance to the current event at hand. But with that note, you have uncovered a new location on the map: the Sailor's Haven.
Ooh, it's in the bad part of town.
Drugs. We're gonna find him. I feel confident. We're gonna find drugs.
Yuki, are
Who's
you
ready?
just wanting to try some?
Who's ready?
Yeah, what's Yuki going to do when she finds the drugs? Like, what is step 2?
Find the drugs, find the dealer, find the cult. That's Yuki's plan.
What if it's not the cult, though? What do you plan to do? It
Even
could
when it's
just
not the
be
cult, it's the
drugs.
cult.
Like, if there
It could
isn't
just
any
be like
cult involved,
a guy selling weed.
yeah, like if there's no cult involved, is Yuki just cool with drugs?
I mean, Yuki believes that if you want to alter your mind, you can, but at least in Tramonto, she thinks that the cult or the like her idea, her thought is that the cult is using drugs to mind control the people to keep them like dull so they can do sneaky things.
Yeah, you don't need to be a cult to do that. You could just be like the FBI or CIA or whatever.
Yeah. It could also
True.
just be this rogue band up from Donamar that came in who's trying to just like undermine the city because Donamar likes to take over places.
I mean, yeah.
It'd be more political than anything else. So if it's
could
not
be.
called, is Yuki just gonna like be cool with it, let it go?
Probably. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens when we get there.
It's gonna turn out to be just some teenagers, like this is just weed that they sell, and it's just like some teenagers just like, and people are just like, yeah, we just do drugs to relax sometimes because we work under a capitalist society.
Just Yuki's gonna confiscate all the drugs, replace it with tea. Be like, you drink it or smoke this now. Thank you. Goodbye.
And then a riot in the streets later.
She's like, and just walks away. No, because she also remembers that there's reported to be a clone here.
Yes.
Clone and voidy, culty bullshit tend to hang out together frequently, so she's kind of like wary and thinks that
it is just funny that we as a group immediately latch onto anything that could potentially be wrong. Cult. No other reason. There's nothing else exists in this world except the cult as bad guys. That's it. There's nothing else going on. It's just a cult. We've seen that's not true, but that's the thing that we go to immediately.
Yep.
I look forward to when we uncover that there's an entirely separate, like much more mundane conspiracy, and we keep foiling their plans, but we're just disappointed because it's like, fuck, these aren't the guys we're looking for.
Yeah, right.
You're not important. Fuck off.
We stopped the assassination of the king, and it turns out it's just like some political unrest. And we're like, God damn it, this isn't cool.
We stop it, Team Rocket. We don't care about your mafia thing.
Care about the mafia thing.
We got shit to do, man.
Oh god, I look forward to when Yuki does find the drugs and then
It's
tries
gonna
the
be
drugs
great.
and then has the best time ever.
It's gonna be great.
Oh, that's so fun. Anyway,
So because the apprentice is missing, like we can't do anything with the wedding rings right now, correct?
I mean, Celeste could still kind of like, walk you through like designs and stuff like that if you want to talk designs. Just because the apprentice isn't here doesn't necessarily mean that it wouldn't get done. It just might get done a little slower.
Okay. Me as a player, surprisingly, do not have any fun, cool ideas about stuff to do with wedding rings at the moment. So that
Okay.
does not need to be assumed just yet.
Okay.
Jade's gonna look at the professor, Reverie, Yuki, and Ren, and she's gonna say, "So do we go to Sailor's Haven first, or do we go to her house first, and check things there? What's the best place to go? We know she was supposed to go to Sailor's Haven."
Professor and Ren are both BRB.
God damn it! I don't see that.
Yuki is not.
So Yuki is not. Yuki can answer the question.
You really want Yuki to decide this? Okay.
Yuki, as much as Yuki's focusing on the drugs right now, it is still the fact that Yuki is one of the people who always knows what to do. Yeah. Now, whether or not that plan is good, she always knows what to do. So
she's always got a plan.
She's always got a plan.
The quality of the plan may be suspect, but there is a plan.
There is a plan. She did pull off the first part of her plan. The second part, which is their reaction, which she cannot control, just didn't go the way she thought it would.
Nope.
Can't control the people.
I think Yuki will. I think maybe going to her house first might be the best plan of action. If she did just take an extra long vacation, maybe she twilighted herself and is home, we might be able to find her there and ask questions. If not, maybe find some clues there as well before heading to Sailor's Haven.
What time of day is it right now?
Right now you're about early to mid-afternoon. Actually, probably more. Actually, closer to mid to late afternoon. Honestly, yeah. That probably makes
mid to late afternoon. She's gonna look at Marcus. When does the Sailor's Haven open? Is it open now?
Well, it's an inn, so and it's got a tavern. I would expect that it would be open all hours because it's frequented mostly by people who work at the docks, the people who work at the Goldwater Trading Company. It's kind of the local watering hole in that area, so there are people who work all sorts of shifts. So I imagine it will be open all times a day.
Oh, good. Then we can go anytime. So maybe Yuki, maybe you're right. We'll go to her house first and check and make sure she's just not just there, and then not locked in a cupboard, and then and then maybe find something that we can take with us. Maybe a picture of Lorenzo that she drew for a clue in case something happened to her. That probably
seems oddly
is
specific.
account for. Yeah, no one really knows when they're going to get kidnapped, right?
Generally, no.
I draw your pictures. They're not good.
Yuki smiles. Yuki will turn to Jade and smile and put her paw on her arm. I would love to see the pictures you draw, Jade.
Oh, okay. So, go to her house first.
What do you think, Professor Ren? What are your thoughts?
Obviously, is well worth investigating. We should absolutely go. Ren is just disappointed that there's not an opportunity to leave this boring ass town so he can get back to nature where he would prefer to be. But he'll do his best with what he's got.
Do you think we should go to her house first, or should we go to Sailor's Rest first? Sailor's Haven, whatever.
I do not think it would be unwise to investigate her home first. That way we can see if there's any additional clues that may help us when we go to the Haven place.
I don't think we have enough evidence or things to really be looking for to go to the Sailor's Haven quite yet.
Oh, that's a good point too. Reverie, what do you think? Do you have any ideas?
No, I'm kind of just trying to keep up right now.
Okay. Well, then let's go to her house. Let's make sure that everything there is in order. And maybe there's something there that we can use when we go try to find Lorenzo. Or Lorenzo's friends. Or just go to the Sailor's Haven. I'm sorry, Narco, we did get her address?
Yeah,
You should have.
Celeste. Yeah, Celeste
Okay.
would have given that to
Celeste did give us her address. Okay, just I'm making sure. Should we go now?
Is there anything we must complete here?
I don't think so.
Then I am not opposed to going now.
Okay.
Alright. So
Let's go.
the first place you're looking to go to is Sophia's house?
Yes.
Alright. So, the address that Madame Celeste would give you. Rocket is crawling all over my table right now. Go.
Yes.
Let's see. Give me a second here. Oh wait, hang on. So the address that Celeste gives you for where Sophia lives is actually like an apartment building where she owns a flat. So that would be right here. As you guys kind of head off in that direction, Marcus will kind of hang behind as Brutus walks next to him. You can see that Marcus is just kind of like he's following with curiosity. He has interest in what you guys are doing, but you can tell this isn't really his area of expertise. So, for the most part, he will kind of opt to, at this point, kind of take your direction or follow your lead at the moment.
As Marcus starts to walk after the group and Naruko is remaining sheet behind, she's like, "Oh, Marcus, is our tour continuing on that way as well?"
Well, I was planning to take you to the market, and then and then on the way back to home, there was another one of the elite families, the Belamontes. Their palazzo was on the way as well, and I can kind of show you the outside of that. But that's in the opposite direction.
Well, yes. So, are we not going?
Oh, I I thought you wanted to search Sophia's house.
Oh, I would love to, but uh, if if you're not up for an adventure, then we should let the professionals handle it now, shouldn't we?
Oh, well, yeah, but I, I'll admit, I have an interest in what it is you all do, and I am curious to see you work.
But not so curious that you're willing to go outside of your comfort zone.
Oh, shots fired.
Yes.
What is Naruko's angle with this? Is she like trying to get him to come along, or is she just kind of like doing like one of those like subtle noble like digs at him?
So she's definitely using some of that nobility training to operate like in that sphere, kind of like talk to him in his language.
Uh-huh.
Uh, the sort of implication here is you like you 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 wanna see some excitement, but you're not willing to really go all the way. It's sort of like Narco's kind of making it clear, like, I'm not interested in a man who's only willing to do half the job. So either if you want to do adventure, you got to commit to it. If you don't, then you better show me around a good time at all the lovely well-to-do places. Uh, she's kind of like you can. I'm taking your measure here, man. Like either option is fine, but I want you to make the commitment here. If you want to go out on a limb and see how the other half lives, I'm not going to let you half-ass it.
See, Marcus kind of clears his throat as you bring that on him, and you see he trades a glance with Brutus, and Brutus has a there's the slightest twitch of like a resigned look on Brutus's face. Marcus turns back to you, Naruto, and he says, "I I would be willing to give it a try."
No, Narako just sort of smiles and sachets a little bit as she takes up her position on Marcus's arm again, and she says, Marcus, as beautiful as all the artistry in this city is, there's something I find reliable when I see that a little bit of weather and worn, a little rough around the edges, proves to me that it is not just beautiful, but it's functional and made to last.
You see Marcus quirk a brow a little bit at that, and uh, seems to make a little mental note. She likes danger.
More like she's a very practical woman, and if it's fancy but can't do its job, it's not worthwhile to her. But if he wants to take it that way, that's fine. Uh, she will follow along with the rest of the party, uh, and even though she's the one on Marcus's arm, she just the way in her posture communicates to the rest of her group that she is definitely his chaperone while he's tagging along on the adventure here.
Oh my god, did Naruto just become a switch?
Narco is the top in this aspect of all relationships. Thank you. The social aspect, she's the top on all of it. It's the physical stuff where we're all like,
Amazing.
Is this the fabled character growth that I heard so much about?
So yeah, so he will escort you as he has throughout the city so far, and he says, "Well, I've in that case, do you still want to look around first, or are we heading off to adventure?"
we're going to adventure. Jade says that as she's walking, and then she stops and she looks back. I don't know which direction I'm going. I don't know where anything is, but there might be a girl trapped in a cupboard. So go.
RB will roll up to Jade and start directing her northward.
Thank you, Abby.
Statement. Mind the gap. The canals are quite large. Please use a bridge.
Oh, that's good. I did not cast Water Walk on any of us today.
So as you make your way, you follow the address that was given to you by Celeste. You make your way to Sophia's flat. Why don't we go around and what's on everybody's mind as you are heading towards Sophia's flat? Jade?
So Jade is like on the way there, has started to try to pick apart everything that's happening, because now she's very, very concerned for this girl that she's never met, that something has happened to her. And she just wants to get there and just make sure that she's not like that something hasn't happened to her there. What was the date of the note in the notebook, and what's today's date?
It was not dated.
It was not dated.
Oh.
So she doesn't know how long this girl might have just been missing and no one knew about it, and no one's gone to look for her. And how could you not go look for her, even if you're not really friends but you're still coworkers? Wouldn't you care about somebody a little bit to want to go look for them? That's the whole thing that's going off in her brain right now. That's just how did someone not try to find her yet? Why would they leave her behind? Like, hopefully we can find her before anything has happened, and maybe nothing's happened, and maybe Lorenzo's going to be a friend, and we can work together on things. But maybe it's a clone, maybe it's one of the echoes that we have to worry about, and then Sophia's going to think Lorenzo's a friend, and then that's going to be traumatic for her. Just that's the whole cycle. The anxiety is kicking in a lot for Jade right now.
How about Professor?
I think that the professor is thinking these schematics lean heavily towards the cult, and where the cult is, the void is, and where the void is, he has a very particular interest in what's going on, but also a particular interest in protecting himself and the others. He's considering all of his options. Like, okay, well, if I lean into the void and sort of power up with it now, then I'm going to get some pretty powerful void boons, but it's definitely got some huge negative side effects. And then his mind will, like, naturally, as he's walking, gravitate towards the marble in his pocket, and it's like, but what can this do? I know I have a good idea of what the void is about. I haven't figured out how to manipulate that to my own purposes, but this other thing be like a tool that I can use against it? So this is kind of the things that he's going on. Just kind of absent-mindedly sort of like reaching up. He just sort of makes sure it's still in his pocket, just kind of dipping his fingers in just to make sure it's still there.
Give me high or low.
High. Always high. Every day high.
Yeah, so you kind of feel into your pocket. You feel that the marble is indeed still there. As you brush your finger over it, and you're thinking these thoughts of how do I use this? What can I do? How do I make this work for me? You just hear that tiniest voice in your head that just says, "I can show you."
I can show you the marble.
No.
Every time he hears that, and every time that comes up, it just sort of like rings a bell a little bit clearer for him. Because where the fuck is he going to find someone willing to sacrifice themselves to power this marble up? And secondly, why would I ever let anyone do that when this person who's already dead and already like willing to do it and already just like has no other like singular purpose on this plane or in this existence outside of apparently to do something with this marble. And just for a few seconds, every now and then, these things like the end justifies the means. Maybe not. That's crazy, but maybe.
Okay. How about Ren? How's Ren doing?
There's too much city. There's too many man-made structures. There's too much artificial, and the people are dead inside, but apparently alive. He does not like this place.
Ren is over the city.
I don't think he ever got into the city. He's just like, what's this? Oh, you know what? He was cool with the apples. If you throw some more apples in front of him, his opinion might get a little better.
Okay. Noted.
He hasn't had an apple in a few hours.
So Marcus, including the crypt in the tour, was actually very kind and looking out for Ren's comfort here.
Ren thinks that was just pandering, and he was not impressed. This little capitalist bourgeois kid does not impress Ren.
Ren is just like, oh yeah, cleric of Thanatos. Oh, we'll show him the local graveyard. That's like Tourist Trap 101. I'm sick of it.
Oh gosh.
How about Reverie? How's Reverie doing?
First and foremost, she's very unimpressed with Marcus.
Ooh, brutal.
Yeah.
Secondly, she's very concerned about this possibly missing girl. Third, she's wondering if there's just something up with like everyone in the city.
Something wrong with everyone.
And fourth, she's still trying to figure out if there's a siren song here.
I will note you have not passed one yet.
Okay.
The entertainment district might have been the most likely place for one to be if there were one to be here. Haven't seen one yet, but you also haven't seen all of the entertainment district yet, so.
Okay.
And then, how about Yuki?
So I think Yuki thinks this must be how Naruto feels all the time, because Yuki feels very smart. She feels like she's she feels like she's taken the red strings and she's made the fucking connections, and she feels like, I'm finally getting it. I'm finally like making these connections, understanding all of these forces at play, and I'm picking up on these these patterns of things that they keep running across, and yeah. That's like first thought is like, this must be what Naruto feels like all the time. I feel super fucking smart right now.
That's so cute.
Also, Yuki she's not a complete lunatic. She is worried about this girl. She does want to find this girl and make sure that she's okay. Keeping in mind all of the things that she feels is going on in Tramonto. She feels that this girl might have stumbled across, maybe some nefarious void culty people, and maybe stumbled across something. Maybe the thing that she was making, they tricked her, and now she's in trouble because she made this thing for them. And yeah. So she's worried about this girl. She's, feeling very proud of herself. And also continuing to scoff a little about how Brutus thinks he's so big and bad, but he is no Gorak.
Brutus has literally said like 4 words to us.
I know.
Marcus is the one who's talking about Brutus.
Listen, Brutus gave Yuki the fucking stink eye on first meet. So
To,
no.
to, to be fair, he kind of gave the stink eye to everybody.
That's
And-
why I
and-
oh no, I didn't say he
He's
only
just a
gave the
bodyguard.
And
stink eye.
continues to do so to everyone.
That's fine.
Just it's not getting better because no one's realized. Ah, shit. This girl, she's got my master pegged, and and she's going to drag him into shit. Oh
Absolutely.
no.
It's not getting better.
I'd be insulted if she didn't.
So that's what Yuki's thinking.
All right.
Love it.
So then how about Noriko, as Marcus is escorting you to Sophia's flat with Brutus flanking alongside and probably Arby also.
Mhm. Nariko is thinking about when she first met Jade and how Jade's first impression of Nariko was her like swinging from a rope and like fixing an engine that was close to being set on fire, and how Jade was just immediately like didn't know exactly how she felt at the time, but all she got was like, this girl is so cool. She's so cool. She's thinking about Gorak and Yuki and how they met with a competitive fight that then left Gorak realizing this is the woman who could kick my ass. I must propose to her or else I will regret it for the rest of my days. And then just fucking went for it. And because he did so, Yuki was so taken aback that she kind of said yes by accident. But just now, it seemed like Yuki was sort of using Gorak as a benchmark for, a real man. And Naruko didn't really see. She can see what she means by that. Uh, Naruko doesn't have much insight into exactly how Professor and Z get along, but considering the care packages and the letters with the journal that they exchange, it's clear that even by distance, they're very much wanting to be with each other. And Naruko's just thinking, so far, what Marcus has shown me has not really impressed. And time will give some opportunities to maybe reconcile what that means in comparison with like some of what he showed off in the letters that he sent. But uh, Marcus looking at me and Ren does apples. Yes, a love story for the ages. Ren X apples, my favorite chip. Um, so as they get along, she's like, we are making progress. Marcus had some interest in all this adventuring nonsense, and I managed to kind of provoke him into going along full force. So if this goes the way it does, because with the information in the note and the resemblance to Clavis, Narcus, and the dreams about great old ones in the sky, eyes looking down, etc., like she's expecting that some stuff is going to go down around this. And when that happens, Naruto might be showing her other side to Marcus, and she's like, maybe that'll be a sea change for him, or that'll be sort of a response that cements how I think this is going to go between us. Um, so yeah, uh, she's she's kind of mulling all that over. She's not super concerned with the investigative stuff just yet because she knows her crew and we got this. But yeah, she's kind of taking a tally of the pros and cons uh, going on so far.
Okay. So with all of this kind of in your thoughts as you reach the flat building, apartment building that Sophia lives in, you are taken up to the front door, where you see that there is like a call box kind of attached to the side of the building, where it has it's like a buzzer panel. Um, you see that there are names that are kind of assigned um, to each of the buttons that would kind of like buzz up to whoever lives there to let them know to let you in. If you were to try the front door itself, you do find that it is locked. It's kind of like one of those mechanisms that you can unlock it from the outside, and then it closes and locks behind you as you go inside the building. And you do determine which of the buzzers is for Sophia's flat. So what do you guys do?
Obviously, we press all of them.
Yeah.
No.
Can we see through the door?
So the door itself does have one of those small windows that you can barely reach an arm through if you tried. As you see inside, you do see that it is kind of leads onto the ground floor of a building, where there's a door on opposite sides to the left and the right as you enter, and there is a staircase leading up, presumably to more flats.
So Jade peeks in the window and looks at everyone else, and she says, "Do we want to try to buzz someone to let us in, or do we want me to go in and open the door?"
Let's be polite and buzz Sophia first.
Okay. I push the button for Sophia.
Is Professor actually pushing all of them?
No.
Sometimes you don't know.
Well, I mean, statistically,
Sometimes you don't know until you try.
There's bound to be at least one person who is annoyed by it, and they just buzz someone up when they buzzes rather than actually answering. As someone who used to live with one, that does happen. I mean, if we're going to be
or someone expecting a package or a delivery, and they're just like,
Yeah.
"Oh yes."
I missed it. Do the buzzers have their names on them?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry. Then yeah, just
Yeah.
just push hers first for now.
So you push the buzzer for Sophia's flat. There is no answer.
I push it again, just to make sure.
Push it again. Again, there's no answer.
Do I push it again, or do we try someone else like Professor thought to do?
Perhaps it might be better not to alert everyone that we want to get in. You're able to get in and unlock it without setting things off.
I can try. Yeah.
What's your plan?
Or I can see through the door, so I can just go on the other side of the door.
Oh, you can. Let's just do that. Is there like a number, like an apartment number next to her name?
Yeah, number 3.
Oh, yeah. Let's just go
There's
in. Let us.
You see, there are 6 nameplates there, so she would be 3 of 6.
Okay.
Jade's gonna attempt to phase step on the other side of the door.
As you go to prepare to do that, you see Marcus kind of leans in and he goes, "Isn't that breaking and entering? That's kind of illegal, isn't it?"
Oh no, we don't have to break anything, and then disappears.
No.
Well,
I think Yuki will look
pat
at Marcus.
Go
ahead.
Well, no, I want to hear what Yuki has to say.
I think Yuki will look at Marcus like she's talking to a child, not as like talking down, but just like trying to explain things simply. And she says, if she's in there and she is hurt, she cannot, and she'll shake her head no, cannot buzz us in. So we need to get in there to make sure she is safe.
but what if she's sleeping or just simply not there?
If she is sleeping, we will know that she is there and that she's safe. And we will continue to buzz to wake her up. If she is not there, part of what we do is to see if someone has been possibly kidnapped, held against their will, in danger. We will not break anything, but we will enter.
Give me a
Narco
persuasion
will
check.
pat Marcus's arm.
Yeah.
Wellness checks are protected under various laws.
Yuki, give me a persuasion check with advantage.
Okay.
Fucking hell. Marcus looks at Brutus. Brutus gives a shrug. Marcus steps back and says, "Well, I suppose if it's a wellness check." And Jade, as you go to Misty Step, Face Step,
Yes, face step.
Face Step. As you face step uh, through the door, you find that you are able to do so, and you are standing on the other side of the door. Does your season do anything with your face step?
No, I can face step someone else right now because I am spring. I haven't changed
Oh,
my.
okay.
I haven't changed my season. So, that's just the one that she always is, unless provoked. So she'll tell Marcus, no, just let's don't have to break anything, and then disappears while Naruko and Yuki have that conversation with him. And as they're finishing up, she just opens the door to let them inside.
Those are my clothes. Those are my clothes. That's not a bed.
Ren was saying that. I was like,
Sorry.
what did I do?
Ask first.
That just confused Jade. I dress? No.
Give him an apple first before you take his clothes.
Consent is
He doesn't
Loki is using my laundry basket as a bed. I'm so sorry. She just snuggled her
You're
way
good.
right into it.
They'll do that.
Yeah, so Jade appears on the other side of the door, opens it, and is able to let you all in.
Hello, come in.
That was very effective.
Not gonna lie, I was gonna ask Narco if she wanted to like pick the locks first, but then she's like, oh, but it's daytime, and then someone could come up and see us. So I guess I'll just do this first. We might have to have her pick the lock on the other door to get inside
Yeah!
the apartment.
I was gonna say, hold that.
I love the progress of Jade actually making it that far in her thoughts to realize what might be the problem. She's getting better. She's learning.
I'm learning. She learns slowly, but she's learning.
Yeah, I was gonna say, hold that thought, because you can get into the flat building itself, but as you go up to Sophia's individual flat, you find that the door is closed and locked, and there is no window on this door. There's a peephole.
I'll try the door anyway, just to see.
You try the door, and you find it certainly is locked.
Oh,
Hey, DM, what's the door made out of?
this one's locked.
The door is made of
Not
wood.
bad.
Motherfucker!
Jade just looks at Narco, and she says, "Can you get the lock on this door? Or can I be?"
Let's knock first.
Oh, good plan. I knock at the door.
Knock on the door. You wait a few moments. There is no response.
Okay. Narco will start getting her sonic screwdriver out.
While she does that, can Yuki cast Detect Evil and Good?
Sure can.
Just to see if any nonsense is happening?
Yeah. So you detect evil and good. What does it look like as Yuki casts this?
I think Yuki will just kind of place her hands on the door and you'll just see like her paws glowing a little bit. Couple strands of her hair will glow yellow as she casts this, trying to be subtle about it, but spell still shows in her as she casts it.
All right. So you cast the spell, and you see again Marcus and Brutus kind of share a look, but um they stay silent. Um, let's see.
Don't you post it?
No,
Please, Marcus, like you've never broken into anyone's house before.
Right?
God, you're so lame. Puss. So lame and boring.
your detect evil and good does not return any of those creature types.
Okay.
Uh, Naruto is going to pull out her super fancy multi-tool, and then she is going to hand off a she takes out it almost looks like a fountain pen, but at the end it's got like a little bulb on it, and she just kind of taps it with a finger, and it lights up a bit, and she hands it to Marcus and says, "Could you please hold this over to the lock for me? I need some light."
Marcus looks at this item, fascinated. He takes it. And he goes, "Yes, yes, of course." And he goes over. He holds it to the light, and you see he's kind of like staring at it a little bit.
It's like, right, and just lower it a little down right there over the hole, and Narco's multi-tool starts like popping out little doodads that she puts towards the lock, and as she's doing so, she's kind of explaining to Marcus, like walking him through kind of what the process is. It's just like, so most simple locks have this tumbler here, kind of this spring, so you have to put pressure here. She figures that he'll probably be more comfortable if he like has something to do as opposed to just watching and judging. So uh, Narco will roll with her page tools. I keep having to remind myself. I like keep. Yes. Yes. Artifice. Yes. I am a high enough level artificer. I do have expertise in all of my tools, so that's handy.
Nice.
Uh, so. Uh, but artisan's intuition only applies to artisan tools, which these tools are not. So do not get that bonus.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and then this would be dexterity as the ability score.
Yes.
Okay. So maybe 17 plus 6, 23.
Yeah. The lock on this door is it's a sturdy like cast iron kind of lock. But it is an older lock and is no match for the tool set that you bring with you. So, much to your non-surprise and Marcus's
Delight.
delight is a good word. Um, you kind of hear the mechanism click, the deadbolt slides, and the door is unlocked.
Lovely. Naruto thanks Marcus for the assistance, and she'll let him keep hold of the pen light for a bit since he's so captured by it.
Kid holding the shiny thing.
Yep. Yuki will turn towards Naruto and say, standard operating procedure, RB first.
Right, you are. She'll nod towards RB, who will give a thumbs up and be the first to open the door and enter the room.
Fireball.
As he does so, he will say, "Statement: This is a wellness check."
Amazing.
Marcus looks at you, Naruto, and he says, "Standard operating procedure. Have you broken into a lot of rooms and had your automaton breach first?"
Um, Once again, well respect, not breaking and entering. But as far as having to venture into places where we're unsure how safe it is, having uh, RB enter first is generally our preferred method. Much easier to repair a few burns or scrapes or what have you than to apply bandages.
Ah, I see. Well, show me what you guys do then.
She'll just sort of pat him. It's like, oh, don't, we're not getting. It's not that exciting just yet. And we'll, with RB in the lead, we'll enter the flat and see what's going on.
So as you guys enter into the flat, it is quiet in here. Things are still. Um, Give me a perception check, whoever would like to. And I'll say outright, nothing jumps out to like accost Arby as he goes in. Ren, I think your disdain for cities, you don't understand how someone can live in such a small enclosed space, even though this is a pretty roomy um, uh, kind of flat. It still feels very enclosed to you, and
Oh yeah, Ren's just not impressed.
and none of it is great. For Yuki and the professor and Naruko, as you kind of scan the flat here, it's very neatly arranged. Everything is it's very well organized. Um, what you see as you enter this flat, there's a large living area that immediately opens up in front of you. There are some comfortable looking couches and pillows thrown upon it. There is like a coffee table um, that is immaculately clean. Um, Small kitchen area over to the side. Again, um, everything seems to have been cleaned up. The flat goes in a little bit deeper down a hallway where at the end of this hallway you can see there's a bit of like a kind of like an office, kind of like study area where there you can see that there is a workbench set up as well in this room down the hall, and off to the side, either side of this hall, there's a bathroom and there is a bedroom. But from the perception checks that you guys have made, um, there does not appear to be any sign of like forced entry of a rushed exit. Nothing that would suggest that anything uh, frantic or hurriedly has happened here.
Is there anything to suggest that the apartment was being lived in recently, like today? Like signs of the kitchen having been used, or you know,
Oh yeah,
what?
there's definitely signs that somebody lives here. Like there are personal effects about. If you were to search like the kitchen, like there's like stored like food and things like that, cookware and that sort of stuff. So yeah, I mean, definitely this place is definitely lived in, but was tidied up. Presumably when if when Sophia left, kind of like how you do before you leave for vacation, you kind of clean stuff up before you go, so that way you don't have to worry about it when you come back.
Gotcha. So like that was like my question was like, oh, there's a bathroom. Are there towels? Are the towels like wet from where she had her bath this morning or something? Like stuff that would have indicated like she's still around, but nothing
Oh,
like
yeah, no. So like that personal stuff is around, but nothing to suggest that anybody has been here probably in at least a couple of days.
gotcha. Alrighty. Uh Narco would Probably just hang back with Marcus for a bit and let the rest of the folks do poking, and she'll just sort of explain what's going on if Marcus has questions.
So Marcus will take a look in, and as you guys kind of start to enter and look about the flat, um, he kind of shrugs and says, "Seems like she's not here."
Indeed, no signs of any sort of rushed exit or entry. She's not unconscious in the bathroom after a fall, which is good in some ways, but also begs the question on where she is.
Did we check the bathroom and bedroom yet?
You can. Do you want to?
I think, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Jade's going with Yuki to check the bedroom.
Absolutely. And like closets in there, like just seeing if she's, I don't know, unconscious or drugged up in a closet somewhere.
Really hanging on to those drugs.
I mean, hey, the sleeping sickness worked for the carnival.
Yuki is so smart right now. You don't even understand. She's so smart.
So, with no check needed, looking for a person or a body, you look through the various rooms in this flat, and you do not find one. Closets, you look under covers, under the bed.
Can Jade look for another? We know that she, in her note, in her journal at work, she had mentioned having dreams. Jade wants to see if now that once we check and make sure she's not like somewhere in this apartment, and it looks like nothing untoward has happened. Can I look for another journal, like a dream journal she might keep, or just a diary, just to see if she's listed anything, if there's more information from her on what's going on?
Give me an investigation check, Jade.
Can I help?
Sure.
Wait, I don't know if I'm proficient. Hang on. I'm not proficient. Never mind. Just kidding.
Okay.
So it's just investigation, right?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. That's gonna be 14.
On a 14.
Actually, wait. I'll burn an inspiration for that and try to do it again. I want to know. Nah, it's a 14.
So on a 14, you kind of look around. There doesn't seem to be anything obviously hanging around here in any of the living spaces, but you do go back to the little study where you do see that there is another workbench that is set up. And again, you see that there are various jeweler's tools, not maybe as many or as nice as you found at the Gleam and Glister, but there are some tools here. There are some more unfinished works, but these are closer to being the finished product, where the gems have been polished a little bit, they have been faceted, and you could tell that she was working with different settings for these nearly finished products. Um, and you do happen to find, again, another just scratch pad with some notes on it. There are mentions about balance, there are mentions about symmetry, mentions about perfect alignment, and that the aesthetics of this finished product are apparently pretty important.
I think I'll pick that up and hand that to probably the professor, because he's been the one who it's a professor and Nariko too, because they're the ones who seem to know the most about the arcane, as it were, and like we found those gems in Dumdural. That's Jade knows a lot about palimpsests and everything else, but she doesn't really know what this is talking about. So she's going to hand that information over to them to see if either of them know anything. If it means something.
No. Does it mean something?
Professor, give me an Arcana check.
20. 30, 20.
23. In your research, Professor, you know that one of the tenets of the mages that had come before, that had originally um, discovered the void, they do talk a lot about of balance and symmetry, and the way that the handwriting is on these sketch notes. Uh, they seem to echo a lot of what you have read and researched so far.
Ah, I am gonna cast Detect Magic.
You cast Detect Magic, um, and you notice that there is like there's some ambient magic that comes off of the partially finished pieces that are on the workbench, but they're in various different other schools. None of them being void, but you do catch that there is some abjuration, there's some transmutation there, and you catch some evocation coming off them. No like specific spells or anything like that. It's as if like she was attempting to do something like that with these, and either it didn't take, or it like just it wasn't like a strong enough effort for it to be to completely take hold.
How close to completion is it?
Um,
Uh,
Professor, hmm?
just to be clear, this is none of these on the bench are the gem that we were seeing. These are just other pieces
These are
Yeah,
unfinished
that
yeah.
she's
pieces. Yeah.
working on. Okay,
Yes.
I just want to make sure.
Professor, give me an investigation check.
Investigation. That's enough.
How's it that one?
Oh no.
So I mean, with a nat one, that gives me a 5 + 4, so 9.
Hang on a sec.
That's almost a 10.
Almost.
Almost.
Do you want to tag out to Naruto?
Yeah.
Cool. This kind of looks like Artificer stuff, or Artificer adjacent. Naruto investigate to figure out the quality and how far along she was on these other stuff.
Yeah.
Cool. Nice. That is 21.
So Professor kind of identifies there's something going on here with these gems, and calls in Naruto for his second opinion. Um, and kind of like what you find is it is kind of like it is almost kind of like an enchantment uh, that was attempted here, but trying to enchant these things with different kind of effects. Again, the effects of which kind of are trivial, because you can tell that these were just like tests. As far as it being close to the finished product, um, these do appear to get progressively closer to the illustration that you received of what the clavis looks like. Um, so with these practice pieces, you could tell she was almost there. Um, in addition, though, with your combined investigation, as you're looking at these gems and kind of taking in the surroundings of um, this workspace, you do find that there is a book sitting on a chair. It looks kind of old and ragged. The pages have yellowed, the dust cover kind of starting to wear. Um, but overall, is still in pretty good shape. The name of the book is called. art of soulsmithing.
What the
Well,
fuck
that's
is
fun.
that?
I'll pick that up.
Yeah, Narco's taking a look with Professor on this one.
Um,
I like to read. Bacon.
This this sounds a little bit close to like what made Jade, so Narco's very concerned about finding this.
Yeah. I want you to know that Joe just rolled back in his chair and giggled. I don't know what he was giggling at. I think he got a message, but it's still very funny because I'm down here and watching him.
so
He might just be entertained by all of this.
you pick up this book and you kind of flip through it,
Soul
and
gets sucked. Just
the overall gist that you get from this book, it goes into more detail about how gems and other jewelry can be imbued with magic, um, and they call it soul smithing. It doesn't necessarily require a living soul, but it doesn't necessarily not require a living soul that can be used. Um, so it's kind of similar, Narco, to when you used the gem that was producing the storm effect in Dumdural to kind of power Arby. Um, it's not unlike that. Uh, there are some more notes in here about how to kind of uh, make jewelry with certain magical effects in mind, and you kind of think also about how Marcus was able to use his ring to unlock the gate going down into the crypt of the Temple of Joaquin. So it stands to reason that this place, the Gleaming Glister, Madame Celeste, Sophia, probably have a hand in creating these rings, or the ring that Marcus has, and can possibly do more with it. So this book kind of suggests that um, Sophia was trying to go deeper for a uh, more intense purpose.
So you mentioned soul smithing. That's just what it's called. But like uh, if you were soul smithing and not like if you're doing the full on soul smithing, are you doing like a blood sacrifice on an altar to like trap a soul and put it into an item like Elder Scrolls style, or is it something different?
Not that intense. It's kind of like using the essence of a living being to power a magical item.
Okay, and when it's giving you instructions, like what sorts of living beings do they recommend using as your power source?
So it recommends like it recommends powerful spellcasters, celestials if you can capture them. Even goes on to talk about some devils and demons. This is kind of like Book of Revelation stuff, though.
So if I if I had an item in hand that had been enchanted with soulsmithing, what sort of thing would be sort of the tell to tell me like whether or not these are, free trade organic artifice work or these are blood diamonds?
literally.
um, so there are kinds of divination magic that you can do to determine if someone has, literally started pouring their soul into a piece of work. So I think the difference would be that there is almost like a kind of, not organic, but there is kind of like there would be kind of like a living element to an inanimate object.
Uh, having looked through this book and gotten more information, if Nariko were to use an identify spell on an object, would she be able to add whether or not they are soulsmith as one of the pieces of information she gains about it?
That is a good question. Yeah, I think an identify spell would do it.
Cool. Uh,
I have a question real quick. So this book says this book that as we're good like the brief overview of it, it's like soul smithing and it goes into details like, yeah, you can use a soul to power such magic. What are they saying you can use outside of a soul? Like if we're under the impression that like Madame Celeste and Sophia are basically they're calling it soul smithing is just like the term used to like imbue magical items and jewelry and gems with magical properties, and that's what they call it. What is used in place of a soul that is also viable?
Well, all right. So to be clear, you're not like ripping out. It's not instructing you to like rip out someone's soul and put it into an item. It's almost like
Oh, like you're imbuing part of yourself into your work.
yes, yes.
Oh, okay.
like blood magic, sacrifice X number of hit dice.
Yeah.
From a spellcaster who can at least cast X level spells.
Something like that, yeah. but there
Or
is
is
a
it
way.
more of like in that metaphysical space of like, hey, you put your heart and soul into this work, and you can
Yes.
tell you put your heart and soul into this work.
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay.
Otherwise, it's kind of like what you guys already know about how to kind of charge an object that is able to take a charge like that. Like I said, with Nargo being able to charge the crystal from Dundrel to kind of program it to do as she wished, which just takes enough spell casting and components and materials to do so. It doesn't require you to not give up a piece of yourself, but to pour your actual being into it.
I mean, whenever I resurrect Arby, whenever he goes down, like I have to expend a spell slot. It's not like I'm casting a cure wound spell. I'm literally just like expending magical energy into his matrix to like bring him back.
Yes, yes. And welcome back, Professor. This part concerns you. The kind of idea that the thing that kind of rings in your mind, Professor, as kind of significant is how you have this little elfin boy that is following you around because you have the marble, and it's as if there is a similar magic affecting that particular item.
Like there's a little elven boy trapped in the marble?
Like someone has poured their essence into this thing and is partially alive. It's almost, if you've ever read the description of like an artifact item, very, very similar to that kind of effect, where not artifact item, sorry,
Legacy?
like a almost like a sentient item, but it doesn't have like an active will of its own.
This book about soulsmithing, does it have any big bold warnings about warning when trying to put parts of yourself into a gem? Don't put too much of yourself, or else bad things happen.
Yeah, there would be that kind of a warning in there that if you use too much of your own essence in something, you almost become like inseparable with the item. The item almost becomes a part of you, or you become a part of it. It's kind of unclear, as the author states. It's kind of unclear how that relationship works, but it does become a bit symbiotic.
That's called a Horcrux.
They're okay. So that's cool. Naruko did clock the similarities between this and the situation with the marble, so she'll she'll leave the book in Professor's hands in case that's helpful to him in finding some revelations. Gonna check the workbench stool to see if she has a secret compartment in this one also.
Yeah, this that one opens up as well, but the inside of it is empty.
Yuki would like to check behind and under said drawers in the work desk to see if there's any drugs.
Give me
I
an
hope there is, for Yuki's
I like your
sake.
dedication.
give me an investigation check.
Okay. You think I'm gonna let that shit go? Come on
Yeah,
now.
I love this. Let's go.
Investigation, you said?
Mm-hmm.
Gonna go investigate.
I hope
Why
Joe's
are my rolls
rolling-
so good tonight? What the
Because
fuck?
you're trying to find the drugs. Are you a drug cat? You're a drug cat. Also
You know,
known as
I've
a
never
narc.
heard of the police employing a drug sniffing cat before, but Yuki, you might be able to open up the position.
For fuck's sakes.
I love it when it's the bullshit when we roll really, really well.
It's been funny because she's been rolling so high and she has not yet found a single bit of drugs.
Nope. Nope.
Her luck could change.
It makes it better somehow.
It does. It absolutely does.
I dropped my dice. I got it. It's fine.
Oh, nice. Why?
one single drugs.
Not even to spare a square of drugs. Just a little bit of drugs. Please, sir. I want some drugs.
I will have 1 drugs, please.
Hello, fellow youths.
I will have 1 drugs. Sorry, go ahead, Sam.
Yuki, you search this area under, around, in between, underneath, desk protector. Much to your surprise, Yuki,
Mm.
Find catnip.
you do not find any drugs.
How surprising!
You do, however, find a drawing. A sketch.
Still not drugs.
You find a sketch of a. You find a sketch of the moon that has an open eye in the center, but the moon itself is shattered as a multifaceted gem is presented in front of it.
Yuki will be slightly disappointed, but also glad that she didn't find drugs in this girl's house. But she'll take this picture and looking at it, it's gonna kind of give her a little bit of the heebie-jeebies, and I think she'll like and just walk over and hand it to Professor. I found this in her desk. There were no drugs, but this, which might be just as disturbing.
Does this feel like they had similar dreams to the professor?
It sure looks similar to what you've seen in your own visions, yeah.
Oh, I need to commune with the Oracle.
Are you saying this out loud?
He's looking at it and he just kind of rubs his temple. Or rubs the bridge of his nose, like, I've got to commune with the whispers over this.
Yuki will kind of quirk her head and say, is that wise?
When has any of this been wise?
There it is.
Jade just
What?
gently pats the professor. I think it's been very wise, Professor. You've been doing a very good job of keeping us all safe.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm gonna talk. Do I want to do this right now? Let me get my high or low.
No.
Heads or
No,
tails?
I do not want to do it right now.
Since the
You're in the middle
tails
of a
is
mission.
eye wrapped in tentacles, it's going to be tails.
Is that the coin?
Yeah.
Yuki's gonna
Yay!
shrug and she's just gonna
Let me
hit.
flip for fucky void shit.
Yeah!
Yeah,
Um,
do it.
Not today. He's gonna be like,
Yay.
when we're not in somebody else's enclosed apartments. I will
We can
look
do that.
into that a little bit deeper a little bit later. But this, he kind of holds it up for everyone to see, and he just taps the paper, and he's just like, I've seen this. I know this.
You seen that?
I've seen
That
it.
is concerning.
Where?
Can I?
He tapped his forehead. In hair.
That gets worse.
Looking at the painting.
It's a drawing.
What's the gem in the painting? What's the gem in the drawing look like?
It looks like the illustration of the Gladys.
Yeah. Just want to make sure.
If I stare at this drawing hard enough and I really try to reach out with my mind, do I get any sort of voices from the Jeffrey, not Jeffrey, of my hallucinations?
Your call is very important to us. We'll reach out with the
Please
sending
hold
label.
on.
Please hold.
Joe, what do I roll to induce schizophrenia within myself?
Wisdom check. Wisdom saving throw.
Roll for hallucinations?
I would say
It's
charisma.
a,
How bad do I have to fail
it's
that?
but you want to fail.
I'm going to need the drugs for this if this doesn't work. So Yuki, your
Oh.
business is going to become very important.
I have not
Jade-
found any yet, Professor. I will keep looking.
Jade leads into reverie. Why is everyone talking about drugs?
Apparently, it's a problem here.
It
Is
is.
it a problem or is it an opportunity?
Are you
I
involved?
don't know.
I don't
If
know
you're
what
involved,
that
it's a
is.
problem.
Professor, give me a high or low.
Always high. High today, high tomorrow.
Not
You
with
will
all
be
those
when you
drugs
do
you
those
are.
drugs.
Drugs.
Oh, actually, though, the drugs make you sleepy, so I guess you wouldn't really be high. They just make you
Well,
put you to sleep, don't they?
that's a 99.
Oh,
How high do you get
Oh.
without getting like too high? Like this is like too close to the sun. Wings are about to melt high.
So you stare very intently at this drawing, Professor, and you try to reach out and try to get answers, and you hear, this time it is the Jeffrey, not Jeffrey voice that just whispers out, "Set me free."
oh.
This again. How do I set you free? I'm just saying this out loud.
No.
Who are you setting free, Professor?
No.
He like holds up like one finger, like, wait, I'm on a call right now. Just need a minute.
No.
To Z?
I wish he was on a call to Z. She would talk sense into him.
There is a simple response, Professor, and after which it doesn't really respond any further. But you hear this voice that just says, "Make the marble yours."
Well, this has all just come around full circle, hasn't it? Kind of already is. I have it. It's in my pocket. What else can I do with it? Well, that was a big bunk. I don't think we're going to get too many answers from this. He kind of shakes the paper again, just like this. And then rolls it up and slides it into his pocket with everything else that he owns besides the coat in which the pocket belongs to.
Well,
See, Marcus looks around and he says, "I don't get it. What just happened?"
Nothing. Nothing happened, and it's a disappointment. Such is life.
You might be looking in the wrong places, friend.
Oh, and you know the right places. Could you please tell me?
Well, if you go looking for disappointment, then that's where you'll find it. But if you find things to look for that are fulfilling in your life, then that's where you'll find your fulfillment. And he kind of like frowns a bit. And he's like, "That was not how I wanted to say that, but that's how it came out."
You seem to struggle a bit.
He just kind of blinks at Marcus. He's like, "That's good. You should write that down. Every time you have a thought like that, write it down. Maybe put it inside of a cookie and give it to somebody else."
Those cookies?
There could be.
Ren's not stopping him this time.
Fortunes, really.
Marcus clears his throat and says, "How do you put a message in a cookie?"
Oh, boy, if I had the time.
Probably write it with chocolate.
But then when you bake it, wouldn't it just melt?
Not if you do it right.
You can make chocolate not melt if you bake it.
If you believe in yourself, you can make anything happen.
No, that is not correct. Do not do that.
Professor is a food wizard.
If you believe in
Creates
yourself and have magical capabilities.
It's true. I'm a food
Getting
wizard.
closer.
That is true. Should we go? Since I'm not sure that there's much else here, and it is getting on in the day, should we head over to the Sailor's Haven and see if anyone there knows Sophia or Lorenzo?
We can.
Don't feel very good about anything that's might have happened to Sophia, and I just want to make sure she's okay.
I think this is a dead end, and I agree.
I believe also that we have learned everything we can from here.
We can at least see when she was last at this sailor's place,
Someone has to
or
know,
if she made it there at all.
right? Hopefully she did, and maybe Lorenzo is really her friend, and they're trying to do something good. And if not,
I think when Jade says that, like, super, like, hopeful thing, I think Yugi's gonna kind of shoot a look over at Professor, like,
What? Why are you looking at me like that?
because I'm worried.
Worried.
Aren't you?
Yes, very worried. And he's like, as he's saying very worried, he's taking all of the failed experiments and like putting them into his jacket. We can't let these get into our hands.
Now that is stealing.
It's not stealing.
Hmm?
Holding on to it.
Oh, you are calling it protective custody.
That's yes, that's actually a good word for it. Protective custody. I have a lot of crystals in my protective custody at this point.
Oh, I don't think we should take anything from Sophia's apartment. She's gonna need it when she comes back.
Marcus
I will
looks-
leave one gold piece in its place.
And a packet of ranch.
Professor,
Don't you dare.
No, I'm just going to give the professor a look and say, put it back.
Listen,
Professor,
fine.
Marcus
And-
kind of looks at you, Professor, as they're trying to convince you to put these gems back, and he says, "Well, wait, is this not part of the wellness check? Like,
Whose side are you on?
it will be if they were dangerous, but we're not sure that they're dangerous yet, so we really shouldn't take anything that's we're not quite sure about.
well, if you're not sure that it's dangerous and you don't think you think it's something that you can handle, and you think it's something that would be dangerous to Sophia, then wouldn't it be better off in the hands of your professor?"
I want to insight
Insight
check
check.
Marcus.
Jade does it because that's. Oh, actually, that he does
Oh,
make.
that was almost
Does
that
make
20.
a good point with that. I guess Marcus is right. If we're
No.
not sure, and then Professor
is
could
he
handle
just-
it.
Is he just not does he just not get like how things are, or is he trying to like get us to take things like what?
So
Yeah, that was a quick flip from we shouldn't go into you should probably take her shit.
What, we're not gonna take that shit? Yeah. No.
He did just see us talk about how dangerous things can be, so.
Yeah, I don't trust him.
so Yuki and Nariko, Ren, what the fuck is up with this guy?
Why doesn't he have any apples?
Why? Yeah,
Why doesn't he have apples?
he's hiding apples. You're pretty sure he's hiding apples
Damn it.
somewhere, Ren.
This guy.
He's holding out on you.
This fucking guy.
Yuki and Nariko, as you kind of look at Marcus, kind of like, what did you just say? He seems to have genuine concern for Sophia. Like he seems to be earnest in what he's saying, out of genuine concern, and the tone suggests that he recognizes that you are accomplished and experienced at this sort of thing, and thinks that if there is a danger to Sophia, but something that you guys can handle, then perhaps we shouldn't leave it with Sophia if it would be dangerous to her, but not so dangerous to you. Point is, he seems to be speaking out of genuine, earnest concern for Sophia, and a oh my god, what's the word I'm looking for? It's like a statement of confidence in your abilities collectively.
So Marcus buys the protective custody angle on this.
Yeah, he's in. He's all in.
Cool. Nariko quirks an eyebrow. She's not going to argue with the professor any further if he does want to take these. She just doesn't really see the point because they're just unfinished works in progress.
I think to make the naysayers happy, he'll be like, fine, and he'll like make a point of doing these flourishing gestures and putting them back on the table. But what he's actually doing is he's using his cartomancer feat to disguise these flourishes as to hide his prestidigitation, to create non-magical trinkets that look like the things he's taking and putting them onto the table.
This little shit.
Yeah.
I'll say, to be fair, as soon as Marcus like made a compelling argument, Jade was like, "Oh no, he does make sense. That makes sense if they are dangerous." And it was now on Professor's side of taking them. Jade's very easy to persuade.
We know.
I know.
Professor's gonna craft a spell called Summon Yes Man just to get Jade on his side every time.
Make a good enough argument, and Jade is like, "Oh no, you're right, actually," and that's
Rocket.
where that goes. Rocket, stop chewing on the TV monitor.
Yeah. So that happens.
Before we head out to the Salem's Haven, since Marcus made it apparent that this is the rough side of town, Naruto is going to take a moment to change out of her fancy von Gertzner dress and into her more practical adventuring attire.
Let's go.
Because I want to have an armor class again, thank you. Because, I don't know, we're about to enter a tavern. We have a history of starting fights there.
Yeah.
I mean,
You.
some
Yeah,
of us
you
have
do.
that.
I don't know what you're talking
Some of
about.
us also have a history of finishing fights there, which is also Yuki.
That's
Yuki
also
is
true.
it's
so
all
smart.
Yuki.
She's
Yeah.
so smart in Tramonto, guys. You don't even understand.
I love it for her.
She's so smart right now.
Mhm.
Her plans, amazing.
So, no. With her with herself changed up a little bit to better suit the crowd, she will be ready to go.
So this is the sort of thing where like you're excusing yourself to a room, like a private room where you can change.
No, I'm going to do it right here in front of everyone.
I mean, I don't
Do a
know.
cellular transformation sequence.
Jade's eyes gets like super big.
Na, 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 na.
Brutus immediately just covers Marcus's eyes for him.
Brutus, however, does not cover his own, but he does look at the ceiling.
Yeah,
I
no,
can't keep my eyes closed because I'm not doing my job. But this seems inappropriate. This is inappropriate. What's on the ceiling? Nothing.
no, you're like 16. Like,
This is so inappropriate.
I probably shouldn't even be
yeah,
here.
I need to go outside.
yeah. So,
It reminds me of my days in the mob.
steps to the side, gets changed, ready to go. It doesn't take long.
Yeah, I mean she has a bathroom here, so.
So you kind of step out after changing. Marcus kind of does double take as you step outside, and he says, "Narco, you look amazing."
She quirks an eyebrow but gives a smile to Marcus and says, "Oh, do I?"
He looks up at you. There's a bit of a smile there, and he says, "I feel like I'm seeing who you really are."
Oh, that's so sweet. Maybe
Yeah.
Marcus, you should change.
Which is a good thing. And he kind of like catches himself like before he thinks that you think it's gonna be like a disappointment. He goes, "No, that's but which is a good thing. It's good. It's yeah."
Well then, I hope I get to see all of you as well. Are you ready, my dashing adventurer in the making?
He takes a deep breath in, out, straightens his jacket, kind of puffs out his chest a little bit, looks at Brutus and gives Brutus a nod. Brutus just kind of like, you see the slightest hint of an eye roll. And Marcus looks.
Brutus goes here all the time, and it's just like, ah.
Marcus looks back at you and says, yes, I am ready."
Okay. Well, Miss Sophia is missing. She was working on some sort of gemstone that may play into where she has gone. Hopefully, she's not gotten into any trouble because of this. Let's see if we can get her. And she will fix the lock once we're back in the hallway so that it's not picked anymore.
Okay.
And then we'll head out to the sailor cabin.
All right.
I think along the walk, Jade's gonna walk with the professor, and just look up at him. Professor, you said you've been having dreams?
Oh, yeah. Everybody dreams, Jade. Not lately. I mean, if you're referring to kind of pats his pocket, this.
Oh, I don't have dreams. But you said in your dreams that you saw the things that Sophia drew.
Mm-hmm. Do we not talk about this? I feel like we talk about this.
Well, no, we talked about the fact that you've had dreams. It's just that do you find it odd that someone else has had the same dreams?
You kind of chews on his words for a moment.
You didn't start having the dreams until after you started with the void.
Yes. I guess maybe the reason this isn't a big, profound thing is because I just kind of assumed that the void was. But the cult is involved with this somehow. The void is involved with this somehow. And to have someone who's experiencing these dreams, this is sort of the first stages of the void, whatever's on the other side, reaching out. These dreams. Whoever this Sophia person is, I don't know how long ago these dreams started, or how much further they've delved into the meanings of these dreams, but they could be very well into the initial stages of falling into the void, and they may still be. He kind of thinks about it for a moment and looks away and is like, savable. If it's
Maybe.
still this early, then maybe they haven't succumbed entirely, which means we may have a chance to save her from them.
You're assuming that she's even affected by the void. Remember that Rockamira had dreams too, before the cult ever came to her. She might just be seeing things.
Anything is possible. However, that dream is heavily at least if it's the same dream. And I feel like it probably is, especially since that looked so familiar to me. But that's the void calling out.
Well, her journal made it seem like she was very much afraid of it and was trying to stop it.
Yes, that's also why I feel fairly confident that she's in the early stages of the void corruption.
I haven't had any dreams.
Well, you're lucky, Jade, in the sense that all of your experimentation and use of the void has been in a controlled environment where Ren can undo anything. But if you were just to use it on your own, unaided, uninhibited, unprotected, not able to cleanse yourself.
I haven't cleansed myself.
How much corruption do you have?
I think the last time that Noriko checked it was 5.
5. Well, I mean, not sleeping or having dreams really puts a damper on your receiving these types of messages.
Do you think that makes it safer for me?
No, it just means whatever happens to you is going to come out of nowhere, and you're not going to see it coming. But I mean, 5 is still within the safer realm, with 5 points of corruption, really. Any sort of spell attacks that you do, saving, can't save that because that's a player thing. Any sort of spell attacks that you do is going to be impacted, especially when it comes to void spells. But if you accrue more, you're going to start seeing different effects. In fact,
I didn't pick up any void things in Sophia's apartment.
No, which means she may not be actively using it there. She may not be actively using it at all, just being in close proximity. And you hadn't used the void at all when Jeffrey did that thing and you got hit with the corruption the first time.
Right, but we haven't been hit with any corruption outside of that. And you've been using it quite a bit.
Yes.
I think I'm just concerned for Sophia. Because if she wasn't doing any kind of void magic, and if she wasn't having any encounters with anything, and she just started having dreams, maybe, like a seer does, and it was trying to warn something, how did they find her? Or did they do something to her because they knew that she could make them something? If Lorenzo's part of, the cult and not actually someone who's trying to help. I just thought maybe we should think about that when we try to go find her.
Of course. Also consider that the work that she was doing is highly irregular and probably more in alignment. If Lorenzo is part of the cult, she may have accidentally tapped into something she had no idea what she was doing with.
Oh, you think so? Oh, that's scary for her. And she's an apprentice too, so she's still learning.
Dangerous thing, building a machine not knowing what it does until after it's done.
She's building a machine?
Well,
I
that's
thought
more
she was making jewelry.
metaphor.
Sorry.
It's really akin to, say, Naruko building a robot and not knowing until after she's done whether or not it's going to strangle every person that it meets or make them a smoothie with its spinny hands.
Oh. No, I don't think that would happen. Naruko always knows what she's doing before she does it.
Not everyone knows everything, but Naruko is probably one of the closer people to get there. But this person is an apprentice, and she's doing some serious work for an apprentice, if you ask
She
me.
is.
I'm not a jeweler, I'm not a tradesman, but it seems to me that whatever that is that she's been working on, especially given the failed experiments.
And, you know, Madame Celeste says that she doesn't take work home and she does all her work there. So why didn't Madame Celeste, like, unless it's not something that maybe seems dangerous, Madame Celeste didn't think about it.
Or she's playing with things that she's not supposed to.
Maybe. I don't know. I'm just worried.
You should be. We all should be.
Are you okay?
Oh, I'm fine.
Are you sure?
Yeah. I mean,
I worry about you too, Professor.
well, I appreciate that, Jade.
You said you haven't been having dreams in a while. Is that good? Or is that because you're not sleeping?
Not having that particular dream. I sleep, I have regular dreams, but I mean, I'm clean right now. I'm clean right now. I'm having good dreams.
I'm clean.
Drugs.
Yuki's been trying to find the drugs in this town that make people sleep.
Uh-huh.
Or micro sleep. Twilight. They make them twilight, which I think is a very, very fun word, but I don't know what it does. Do you think if that was making people dream strange dreams, that could be how Sophia tapped into something she wasn't supposed to?
It's entirely possible. I mean, there's a long record of different medicines and treatments that impact the types of dreams you have.
Do you
So
think if we find the drugs that Yuki is trying to find, that what should we do with them?
well, not really knowing the extent in which the drugs impact the psyche, I probably take them into protective custody.
That's probably a good idea. We don't want them to be hurting people if they're hurting people. Do you think we should try them to say if they're hurting people? I don't really know what a drug is.
If you're asking me if you should experiment with something you don't understand, you're asking the wrong person, because Ren's going to give you a very angry scowl, and it's probably going to make you a little bit squirrely inside.
Ren always gives the angry scowls. He's not been very happy with me lately.
That is just my face.
I trust you, Professor. I think you're doing a really good... You're being very brave. And, we're all trying the best we can in different things. And you were trying the most of all of us before. So, I want your opinion.
Well, that's where we have to be careful, isn't it? We've done all these things which makes us brave, but there's a very fine line between bravery and naivete, stupidity. Brave people do brave things to help people, but brave people also get themselves killed because they don't know when they should be afraid. Fear keeps you alive.
You can be scared and still do something. That's what
True.
makes you brave.
This is true. Well, either way, there's something going on in Tramonto. I don't know
Definitely.
exactly what it is, but I really do feel that there's something cult-driven here, and we're about to find it.
Well, we definitely know there's something void-driven here. Or at least avoid his touching people here. She drops back a little bit more and lowers her voice a bit. What do you think about Marcus?
He'll kind of slow down also. He's like, well, for all intents and purposes, he seems like your average noble brat, as they would call them.
Right? Right? He seems average.
But if you watch him over the next little bit, see what he does. There are these little things like a smirk here or a quirk there that, I don't know, something about him makes me feel at odds with my comfort.
I think part of me was hoping that Noriko wouldn't like him, because then Noriko didn't have to stay here. And that was selfish, but I think part of me was hoping that she wouldn't like him. But then the other part of me thought, wouldn't it be wonderful for Noriko if, he was like Gorak, and she saw him just like Yuki saw Gorak, and they fell in love, and it was all very romantic, and just big grand gestures the whole way. But then he's just like a guy. And that seems... Doesn't Narco deserve better than just an average guy?
He kind of quirks an eyebrow and looks down at her over the wide brim of her hat. She's like, that her betrothal to Marcus is not an act of love, at least not yet. It is an act of strategy.
I know.
Parents. I mean, sure, these sorts of things do happen all over the world, and they find love later on. But I mean, Naruko's tasted real love. At least I think she has. And if you ask me, just between us girls, I don't think that she will settle for anything less.
Well, I just want her to be happy. She's so extraordinary, Everyone keeps telling her that she doesn't have to do things anymore, and no one's asked her what she actually wants to do yet.
It's incredibly noble in the sense of nobility rather than doing noble acts. To assume that if you're doing anything less than absolutely nothing, then you are doing so against your own will. And once you step into a position in which you are afforded the ability to not do anything, then you should be happy to do it. Okay, so the idea of you guys, like an air quotes, laboring with us peasants out in the field seems weird to them. And why would anybody want to do that when they have the ability to just sit on their laurels and
be safe,
judge other people?
The family seems nice. Everyone seems very nice.
Well, everyone seems nice at some point or another. I really have very strong feelings about that family, given that there are skeletons in their closet. Otherwise, why would you have such strong arcana protections in your home, just in the sitting room?
Well, if they're... I mean, I don't know. I've never met any other noble people other than Nariko. And her mum, we've never been to their house. And, they work with magic things. Maybe here in Tramonto it's just different. Maybe all the noble houses do it.
I'm willing to bet they don't.
Marcus did mention that they have secrets. They do business in their house, and they can't have people spying on them.
There are other means.
I guess that's just the easiest way to do it.
Easy to do, yes, but not easy to get. Those crystals are not commonplace, and there would be considerable work and money to acquire them to the degree that they have them there. I don't know.
They seem really rich, so maybe it's not so weird.
They own a trading company. What could they possibly have to keep so secret?
I don't know. Whales.
Don't
Secret whales. Could be.
Maybe they protect whales or something. I don't know.
I mean,
But I don't know enough about it to really be concerned yet, I suppose. It doesn't seem that strange to me, just because I haven't been around it.
well, it'll all work itself out in the wash, I'm sure. We have a knack getting to the bottom of things, and
We do.
there's something not quite right about all of that. But
Are
that
you
could be for later.
are you staying at Marcus's house tonight, or are you going to stay with me and Reverie outside?
Oh, I'm going to be going to whatever tavern or drinking hole near the Goldwater Trading Company I can find there. I feel
Oh no,
very I'm going to find something.
I meant for sleeping.
Oh, I'll sleep there. Usually
Oh.
there's
Okay.
some.
So you're not staying in the house?
No.
Okay.
You're kidding? I'm not going back to a house where the only thing that I have, besides my mind, is lost to me, blocked. If I can't use magic in any capacity there, then I have no desire to spend any more time there than I absolutely have to.
Is it that strange for you?
No, it's not strange, and that's the problem. I know that anyone who wants to rob a wizard of their magic has something that they need to defend against wizards from, and I don't like the idea of what that could be, especially if it's just for somebody who owns a trading company. They're hiding something. Something more than just trade routes.
Well, maybe it'll be whales. That would be
You know,
nice.
I sincerely hope that it's whales. I hope they have a large tank in that large palazzo with just whales.
That'd be nice.
Maybe even endangered ones, because that would make it all make sense. But
right?
I think it is.
Yeah, but I suppose we'll find out. I just don't want to see Narco get hurt in the meantime. But
listen, I don't want that either. But
I know you'll keep us safe.
Everything about this place makes me feel like she's going to.
Well, that's what she has us for. To make sure.
That's what she has us for.
And with that, as the late afternoon starts to give way to evening, the sun starts to turn to like an orangish, pinkish color as it spreads across the sky, reflecting off the water in the canals of the city. You guys approach the Sailor's Haven. It is a tavern with an inn. It is it's 3 stories tall in some parts. You do hear the raucous laughter, loud talking. It's kind of a joyous scene where you have like a bunch of roughnecks kind of gathering together and drinking. That noise kind of spilling out to the streets as you approach. And with that, we are slightly past 11 o'clock, so that seems like a good place to pause for the evening.
Woo!
Oh my god, I love it.
I cannot believe we get to a jewelry store and she's like, yeah, by the way, my apprentice is missing. And now we go off on a search for a girl and it turns out Boyd.
Night, Ben!
Night, Ben!
Night,
Good
Ben!
night,
Good night.
It was just
Who's
kind of funny
crazy
because
now?
it was
I
just
mean-
kind of funny because she just mentioned like, yeah, I'm really busy because my apprentice isn't here and she was supposed to be back from vacation today. Like that was it. That was the hook.
Yeah.
That's
That was a
it.
good
Yeah,
hook.
but you mentioned it in front of Jade, who was like, oh, well, do you need help? I feel like I need to be doing something more than just walking around the city. And no one lets me help. No one let me put away dishes at the Goldwater Mansion, so
Oh.
Jade would make a terrible noble.
yeah.
That's
Yeah.
alright.
She would make a great noble. She would be broke, but she would be
Yep.
great.
Everyone gets money.
Of course they do. Just, ma'am, I would like
They
a
want
raise.
it.
Sure. Just give them their money.
Look, it's honestly a miracle we've gone this far without half of this party immediately jumping off to go like case through the rough side of town looking for drugs.
That's
So
fair.
That could happen well into tonight.
Also true. That probably will happen.
I feel like I'm fairly confident that it is going to happen.
I'm 100% confident that when the professor goes off to the tavern to find the dwarf with the drugs, there's gonna be shenanigans. Especially if Jade is going to the professor going, I don't know what a drug is. Are we supposed to take them?
Here, let me hold your drugs for you.
Are we supposed to?
I
Are we
can't
supposed
wait.
to test them to see if they're actually doing something bad? How do we do that?
What do you?
But-
I need a set of paper so I can just walk in and just say drug inspection. I need to make sure this is up to par.
We can make sure these drugs are good for you. They're good drugs.
Let's fucking go.
I don't think that's how it's supposed to work.
Hallucinations. This is not a good drugs for you. I should take this and give you something better. Here, have a glass of water. It's going to be so hydrating.
These are not good drugs for you. Oh, fuck yes.
We get to do drugs.
No bonus
Yeah,
points.
So how about some nominations for inspiration?
Oh my god.
Professor!
So many things.
Professor,
Professor, amazing.
Why?
Yuki not giving up the drug search. Professor,
Yuki defending
Professor
Garrett!
going-
Or whatever his face is.
Yeah,
Yuki being like, I don't know, this boy or his bodyguard, they ain't no Gorak.
There it is.
I love how
That
Yuki
too.
went
for
from.
Gorak.
I love how Yuki went from I don't know about this guy to yeah, my fiance can fuck this guy up.
Actually,
Oh.
I wanna go deeper into that. It went from I don't know about this guy. Should I fake my own death to avoid him? To
It's a
to
choice.
this orc who's done nothing but be a bodyguard. He's no Gorak, and it's just like, but he hasn't
Fuck.
done anything.
Fuck him.
You
That's right, he
literally
hasn't
were
done
the one who
anything.
kicked Gorak's ass. So like, kind of a bad comparison to draw because I'm pretty sure you could kick this guy's ass too. So
I mean, we may find out. We don't know.
I mean, we
Not
might.
true.
That
He's
sounds like a
really
fun
seemed
fight.
very uninterested in all of this. He's just like,
He
ugh.
does. He's like,
He's
you
not
know
getting
what?
paid enough.
He's not. I don't think he is. He should ask for a raise.
To quote an NPC in a different game, not my circus, not my monkeys.
Why? Why the monkeys
Right.
though?
But how many monkeys are there? See, you had multiple monkeys. It was okay. It's fine.
There's so many monkeys.
They needs to have. It's only sad when they have
It's
one.
so weird the things that we focus on.
How can you have a circus with only one monkey? It is just too sad. That's all I'm saying.
The very lonely monkey.
It's just that.
Brutus's
That's because
problem is
it's
that he's
taxidermy dead monkeys, so no one cares.
Oh,
Oh,
that got worse.
that escalated quickly. Jesus Christ. Actually,
Now you
because
know.
they're all dead.
Huh.
I also loved the conversation with Jade and Professor. I absolutely loved that. I'm so glad I was muted because I 1000% cackled at least once. I thought that was fantastic. I loved Naruko like pushing
Mhm.
Marcus, like manipulating him to like
Yes.
not be a bitch. But in a sneaky, I'm
Yeah.
rich, sort of privileged way that none of us would probably think about.
Oh yeah, Narco 100% speaking
Naruto
this language.
100%.
1000.
We're okay with that.
Yeah, definitely. It was like some of the biggest moments for me tonight were definitely like Naruto being like, "Oh, well, if you're not willing to go on an actual adventure, I don't want to entertain you with a half one." Like,
Yeah.
So we'll go to do the safe things that you're comfortable with, and then just making him go like, no, I'm cool and a man, and I can do this.
I'm a big man.
Yeah.
I can do big man things. Sure, you
Yeah.
can.
Brutus just going,
it took us
and I
75
don't get paid
seconds,
for this.
but Naruto finally found her switch.
There you go.
Yes.
Hey, this is what your story arc is all about. And then the professor as well, like going in and finding and like just being the professor, using his card trick to cast Detect Thoughts on Marcus, doing his checking in with the whispers to be like, oh shit, I know what this is. What am I supposed to do with this? And immediately trying to figure it out right now.
Yeah.
Though not pushing it so far that he's gonna probably wait till tonight when we're all back in a room together to do stuff, but doing that. Yuki not giving up her search for drugs, but also being the one to find all these things. She's looking for drugs, she's obviously doing that, but she's finding the stuff, she's very much in investigation mode.
Notebook useless. I want the drugs.
I want the drugs. What are the drugs here?
There's
it's just
drugs here
she was
somewhere.
looking for something specific, and then she found the notebook and she gave it to Jade to investigate while she was looking for other things. So it's not like she was like, "This is useless," and threw it away. It was just "This isn't what I'm looking for right now. You look at this while I continue to tear things apart." Having that happen. Yeah, delegate. There you go.
The hardest I laughed tonight was when Yuki was just like, I get what it's like to be Naruto now. This must be what it feels like all the time.
Right?
Just investigating and finding facts and putting them together. Oh my gosh, I feel so empowered.
It's coming on. It's coming together.
I'm like, Yuki, you're not like the dumb one in the party.
No, that's Jade's niche. Don't take it. I'm the stupid.
There it is.
Apparently, it's a thing for older guys. I don't know what that's about.
Apparently,
get into that later.
Yuki's this must be what it feels like to be Naruto.
That was adorable.
Delighting in flexing her deductive reasoning chops as she continues to search for the thing that's probably not related to what's going on here, but still uncovering the truth in the process.
Right? I wasn't wrong. There.
We don't know if you're right yet. We just know.
I'm not mad. Keep it up.
You found the things, and none of it has to do with drugs yet.
Oh, man.
It's gonna be even funnier though. If we're continuing on this thing. We find all this void stuff, and Yuki's like, "Yeah, but where's the drugs?" Just a separate thing that's happening. It's a separate thing that's happening.
Just as we're fighting the most recent clone and in pitched battle, Yuki rolls up. She does the finishing blow, and just wait, what about the drugs? It's like,
where are the drugs?
God damn it!
Where are the drugs?
Although it would be interesting to find out if they're not. Maybe they're not mind controlling them with the drugs because they're making them sleep. But we didn't find any void stuff in Sophia's apartment, which may not mean anything yet because we haven't found the girl. But if she's having dreams of things, we know of a drug that's apparently making people hallucinate.
Mm.
And the veil is becoming thinner, and we know that the dreaming plane is a separate plane of existence.
I had the same theory that I posted in the side chat, but I also amended. But that would make Yuki right, so therefore that can't possibly be
right.
No.
So funny. It's gonna be hilarious when she is right. It's gonna be very funny. It's just so funny that we latched onto it so quickly out of nowhere when it was just an offhanded comment of yeah, some of my workers are doing drugs. I wish they weren't because I'd love to stay awake all the time. I'd love if they did drugs to stay awake rather than go to sleep. And Yuki's
it's gotta be cult.
That's gotta be a cult thing that's happening rather than just people escaping their reality. Although, to be fair, we also latched on to this girl hasn't come to work today. Obviously, a search party is necessary.
We have to find her, clearly.
I agree.
The funny part is if you ask Naruto directly,
we latch onto.
Naruto would probably say, honestly, any one of the weird things happening in town, I give it 50-50 odds that the cult's involved somehow.
Of course.
It's just a pattern.
Yep.
Who is Lorenzo?
Fucking Lorenzo, man.
Watch it be the Echo. Watch it be the Echo. And then we're gonna have a whole thing about it. But what do they want this new gem for? Are they trying to make a new Clavis?
Yep, they can't find the other one.
Can't find a real one, so they're making a new one, but is it even gonna work? We don't even know. Now we have to find this one. Now it's gonna be a soul gem and Sophia's stuck inside of it. Creepy term, by the way, soul forging for this, or soul casting.
No, it was soul forging.
Um,
Soul crafting or whatever it is.
soul smithing.
Soul smithing. Soul smithing.
Soul
And then
Oh,
Narco
okay.
immediately is like, that sounds like the thing that happened to my girlfriend. What's happening right now?
Was it what?
Oh, it's just an artistic term for when you do things. Yeah, I know. Sure, that's true. But I also know that you can sacrifice people to make powerful gems. So what are you doing, Sophia?
I also put about 20 to 25% odds that Sophia has in fact been stuck into a gemstone as a power source.
That's fair.
Probably.
Yeah.
I hope we can save her. The only way to
Mm.
save her is by
No.
letting Eric touch the marble.
No.
He's
The
gotta
only
come.
way to-
He's gotta come
No.
back and be like, "Hey, by the way, I can fix it for you. I can save this girl. Help me
I
help you."
I will build a whole new robot body and I will put the gem in the body like I did sort of with RB, and she can be a Warforged now.
The only
Okay.
way to save her is to sprinkle drugs on her.
No.
God.
So
What? I'd be the better way
Uh,
to go with it. Honestly,
uh,
we now just have to find the drugs to put on her body.
Yuki's on it. Yuki is on it.
Look,
She'll-
last campaign we all did drugs. Lorelai is still doing drugs,
Yeah, she is.
and
Yeah,
some
she
of
is.
those drugs are cocaine, which doesn't have a name yet. It's called dwarf powder or whatever the fuck. But she
It's
does.
fine.
It's fine.
Don't. We can't get high and mighty. We've all done the drugs in the campaign.
okay, well,
Silent
Brother
Tongue was
Edward
probably
absolutely
literally
did.
selling.
I will give you Brother Edward, but I don't think Sepka did drugs.
I don't think Steffi did either. Not knowingly.
Eh,
Girl couldn't even drink alcohol. She sneezed.
That's true.
technically,
That's true.
alcohol is a drug.
All right, all the adults in the party did drugs.
Okay, that's fair. All right.
So
I gotta peace out, guys. Have a good night, everybody.
Good night.
Hey, before you go, inspiration. She's gone.
That's right.
She's gone.
I was
The inspiration will be posted. Joe already
Yeah.
decided he's getting another
Yeah.
one. It's
Oh, he
fine.
did. Okay, good.
I am thinking Yuki and Naruko. Yuki's relentless search for drugs uncovered quite a number of clues that were not drug
Yeah.
related. And
Yeah.
Naruko's dig at Marcus, not quite a dig, but kind of like
Oh.
a gentle
Poke.
persuasion.
Hey, Gentle, are you man enough to handle this? Because
Yeah.
I don't think you are.
It's like,
Yeah.
this is a part of my life, boyo. Like,
Boyo.
I
love it.
can't.
Because it's interesting how like his family has mentioned like, oh, it's a good thing you won't have to worry about this adventuring thing anymore, but then he is very curious about the adventuring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course he is. Of course he is. He is a teenage dude who's like, I've lived a very safe life. I do fencing. I'm cool. What's going on over
I
there?
read.
Can I read about books and adventurers and things that do cool stuff. I want to do cool stuff. My girlfriend's doing cool stuff. My fiance's doing cool stuff. If I can get away with it, I want to do cool stuff too.
sure, the nobles might turn their nose up at the terrible things happening down in the poor town. But if all of their all the best selling like books and plays and stuff are all about the shit that goes down there because they're fascinated. It's like, ooh, how the other half lives. So
Oh man.
So good.
I hate how much I like the Marcus is secretly like moonlighting as a thief in the night. It's
I feel like he's there's got to be more to this guy, right? The rest of his family has been so nice and hitting all their marks, and then the son is just like mid. And
Yeah.
it's like, no, the guy who sent secret messages encoded to you and had like a whole thing with his portrait done and that you had to like decipher. That's not a guy who's mid. There's
Mm-mm.
something going on here.
so either we've got some replacement going on between message Marcus and in person Marcus,
This Marcus.
or in
Yeah.
person Marcus is like putting up a front, but literally the only person he would need to do that for is Brutus. So
And we've been away from Brutus enough, unless, well, no, because Brutus was like, I was like, well, maybe he was worried they'd overhear us in the shop, because the shop is smaller and like he was still in the shop. We were just in the other room. But then I'm like, well, but we went down into the crypt and he stayed up top. So
there have been
unless,
numerous occasions where Marcus and Narco had enough privacy that if he wanted to like slip some hidden messages to her, he could have
yeah,
done that.
unless he's like being watched,
Also
like
possible.
outside of that, or
Could be.
he's
Yeah.
just like, fuck it, she's coming, I'm just a dick. He's like, can't hide it anymore. Like, I don't know. Maybe he is just mid. Maybe Alistair was the one sending the hidden messages in the Marcus email, on the Marcus notes.
Mm,
Maybe Alistair was like, fuck, I can't, I'm the secret agent in all of this. I can't let this poor girl get involved. I'm gonna write a message in Marcus's message. Maybe she'll go away. It turns
That
out it's
worked well.
Brutus. Brutus is actually the real Marcus. Or Brutus is the one sending the messages, which I would find funnier, I think, if it was the hired help that was trying to send messages out.
That would be funny.
That would be great.
I mean, Narco can pivot.
I mean, Yuki sure did.
Yep.
He's not
Right.
Gorak. Weren't you just?
He's
You've
not Gorak.
confused Jade so much.
Some
You actually
some
haven't,
of
because Jade convinced you fell in love. Oh, romantic like.
some of what we're doing right now is seeing if Marcus has the capacity to like pick up to speed to be where Narco's at as far as like being okay with adventuring nonsense and also just being a generally progressive and tolerant person as far as nobles go. Uh, Once we get through that, then she can sort of like swap off and see about, all right, like show me all about your rich inner life. You know, let's let's see what cool stuff you can do to impress me on how you are a multifaceted being. Uh, or completely fail to make that mark and make me sad.
Oh, that make me sad.
Yes. Oh. Well, it's a marriage of convenience. It's fine.
Yeah.
You are correct. There's been enough character growth that Narco will definitely not settle for mid, or at least not without setting down a lot of ground rules.
I mean, is Narco still someone who would like weigh the pros and cons of it, going, this is mid, but fiscally responsible and appropriate for the companies, and
Yeah.
Ah, yes, the libertarian approach.
well, or like the nobility approach, like, I don't love him. We're not necessarily compatible, but he's not awful. He's just not my vibe.
It's
Remember that,
yeah.
Marcus? He's not my vibe, but if this is still good for my future and the company, and it's not bad enough for me to say no, but not something I'm excited about. But if I can still live my own life outside of it.
Oh my
What
god.
I just saw Mars
no.
post things. I just saw Mars post things. What
I
is
just
happening?
Oh no!
Oh no.
Oh no.
Bringing the heat.
How
Oh
how
my
did you
god!
have enough time to be doing this?
Because
When
he's fucking amazing
He's
I mean,
all
very
the
I
time.
amazing.
talked for the entirety of the session, and I have a very, I get distracted and I need to be engaged. And I engaged myself with this.
Oh no.
I love the image of this as a tabaxian, like a Technicolor dream coat.
Hell yeah.
Oh my gosh.
the Marcus situation could definitely turn into, well, I am doing this for political economic reasons, and I am determined that the most likely like sort of living situation I can make with this fellow is good enough. Uh, I have my Jade. Marcus can have his ballet floozies. Uh, do
His
I
little
trust him
actor
enough
friend.
to not cause problems for me in the background while I just run the business? Good. Okay, great.
he seems again mid enough to be like, I don't really handle the business. I would prefer to be at the opera. And the narco's like, that works for me. Go,
Cool.
go, go, go.
Here is your monthly allowance.
Pretty much.
If you want more, do things for me and my girlfriend.
Child.
Also, we're not like, don't talk to me about like kids for like 4 years at least. We'll revisit that.
Yeah.
If Naruko didn't like the men in her life, she would probably adopt.
Who says she can't do both? I know this great orphanage up in some draw.
Mhm.
Give me a few levels. I can get you a wish.